नाञ्जन चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तनं हृदयन्तस्थ भद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सतां नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। सर्वशास्त्रादि पीयूष सर्ववैदिक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाद्य सर्वलौकिक दृक्पद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवतो प्रभु कलिद्वंतोतितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानंद पाथाय प्रेम वर्ष अक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेवाय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोस्तुते मद एक बंधु मद संगीन मद गुरुन् मद महाधन मन्निष्ठारक मद्भाग्य मद आनंद नमोस्तुते असाधु साधु तादाइन अचिनीचुत ताकरा हाना मुंचा कदाचिन मां प्रेम न हृत कंथयो स्पुरः। ग्रंथराज भागवतम की जय। Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining. So I was thinking of the verse like we recite every time before we start Srimad Bhagavatam. Srinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam. Just as hearing Srinvatam Krishna Swakatha Krishna Krishna Katha, we are just hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. What is it? Punya Shravana Kirtanam. There is no more auspicious activity than to hear Krishna Katha. Right? And then Srimvatamso Katha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Hridyantasto Abhadrani Vidunoti Surasata. So when we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we can meditate on this point that yes, while we are hearing, we are really absorbing the message of the Bhagavatam, this Hari Katha. Then in our heart, what is happening? Krishna himself is washing away all the anarthas, all the obstacles in our heart are being washed away as we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And who is that personality in our heart? Surat. He's our best friend. So just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, giving oral reception to Srimad Bhagavatam, the best friend in our heart is actually taking away our obstacles in our devotional service. It's a nice verse to meditate on. Okay. Okay, everyone okay this morning? Ready to start our absorption in Srimad Bhagavatam? Is the voice okay? Okay, so today we are going to start with chapter number 12 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, okay, third canto, chapter 12 is titled Creation of the Kumaras and Others. So, okay. Actually, let me not go through a flow of the chapter. Let me start off with the chapter, and then in between, I'll give an overview of what we have come to, and we'll continue. Because as we read the chapter, we will actually see how Brahma's creation is going on. And it's very, very interesting. And I was thinking, like, the previous chapter, how Brahma has prayed to the Lord, and then further in this chapter, how Brahma is starting to do the creation, we learn so much from this about how to do practical service, and what we can expect in doing practical service for the Lord. Okay, so let's start with 3:12:1. Okay.
Maitreya Uvacha Iti te varnitakshata kalakya paramatmanaha mahima vedagarbhota yatha shrakshin nibodhame. I don't have the list yet, but anyone can start.
Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Maitreya said, O learned Vidur, so far I have explained to you the glories of the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his feature of Kala. Now you can hear from me about the creation of Brahma, that receiver of all Vedic knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. So in the first verse, we see Maitreya Uvacha, Iti te varnita shataha. How many times you have seen the word shataha? What does shataha mean? Vidura, right? It's a name for Vidura. So iti te varnita. So Maitreya is saying, varnite, I have described, oh Vidura, I have described what? Kalakhyaha. What was the previous chapter all about? Kala, eternal time, right? Kalakhya and Paramatmanha as the glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I have described about eternal time, which is a form of Paramatma, which is actually the glory of the Lord. Mahima means the glories. Now, where did we read the glories of the Lord? In the previous chapter, didn't we just focus on the point like, okay, the time is divided into this and this and this and this? Where was the section where we discussed about the final glories of the Lord?
At the very end.
Yes, at the very end, what did we read? We came through all the different classifications of time. And then we came to the largest unit of time, which was actually the entire lifespan of Brahma. And beyond that, that entire life, 100 years of Brahma, was said to be what? It is just like a nimesha for the Lord. It's just like one breath of the Lord is actually the entire lifetime of Brahma. And if you're reading through a chapter, it's like one lifetime of Brahma starting from the smallest unit, and then you keep growing, 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 growing. And one life, oh, that is unimaginable, such a huge lifetime. And what is that for Krishna? One nimesha, right? So that is the glory of Krishna. And then the other aspect of glory, there's one more aspect of glory that we read, right? That was our time, and which is the other aspect, which is a correlation to time?
Space.
Space, right? Space or matter, right? And matter also we read smallest atom to the largest unit of matter, right? Considering almost like the Mahatattva. So from Paramanu to Mahatattva, right? And what is everything of this for the Lord?
Paramanu.
Yeah, it is like insignificant, right? So this is also, Lord is the cause of all causes, and this entire creation is just like an insignificant aspect for the Lord. So both in terms of time and in terms of space, we have said that how the Lord is actually beyond all this. And hence the previous chapter concludes with the glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So itite varnita shata. Oh Vidura, I have described Kalakhya Paramatmana. Kala which is time, which is the aspect or form of the Paramatma or the super soul, and Mahima. This is actually all the glories of the Lord. And then further he says, Veda Garbha. Who is Veda Garbha? Who is Veda Garbha? Who is considered to be the reservoir of all the Vedas?
Brahma.
Brahma, right? So Veda Garbha referring to Brahma. Mahima Veda Garbha tha yatakshin nibodhi me. So I am now going to describe how Brahma actually created as yatha. Yatha means as it is. Like we say Bhagavad Gita yatha rupa. As it is, Bhagavad Gita as it is. So as Brahma created, I'm going to describe. Now you carefully listen to me. Right? So this is the first verse. Right? So okay. Now you can hear from me about the creation of Brahma, who is the reservoir of all Vedas. Veda Garbha. Okay. Text number 2.
Sasar jagren ghatam mishram atata mishram adikrit mahamoham chamoham cha tamascha jnana vrittayaha.
Okay. So before we go to the translation, okay, let's just do a quick review of what Brahma has done before he's going to start creating. Right. So let's say you have been assigned a seva. Right? Prabhu, you have to do this seva, a big project. Do you immediately just jump onto the project? Maybe. Maybe you're like, okay, this is it. Let's get. How did Brahma start his seva? So in the last few chapters, we have been reading how Brahma has prepared himself to start the seva. Right? Even if you go before, like starting from 3.5 is where we read about the entire aspect of creation, right? The entire chart, starting from Mahavishnu, right? Pradhan, Mahatattva, then going down to Ahankar, 3 modes of material nature, then Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Dravya Shakti, then coming to the 10 elements. And then after that, we came to the creation and how the demigods were created and the demigods were created. And then what did they do? They saw that they were disconnected, right? They were disconnected. And hence they prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Lord, he actually entered into these elements as a cohesive energy, right? Combined these elements and then the universe was actually created, right? Now, that is the first aspect. So all this, what we discuss is Sarga. From 3.5 onwards, we are discussing Sarga, right? Then the second aspect. How was Visarga described? Visarga was described that after the night of Brahma, how did creation take place, right? So Visarga is not particularly on the first day of Brahma. It was just like, okay, after night, there's annihilation, and then how Brahma created at the starting of the day. That was Visarga. And then we read what? That Garbhodakshay Vishnu, he's lying on the Garbha ocean, and then he looks at his womb, and just by the glance, he actually, one way, awakens all the jivas who actually pierce, which actually awakens the subtle bodies of the jiva, which actually pierce through his navel and comes out in the form of lotus, right? And on top of the lotus, Brahmaji was born. Right? Now, Brahmaji is born. His seva is what? To actually create. So he's been assigned. Seva is to create. But what was first Brahma's reaction? Who am I? I don't even know who am I. I'm here. It's all covered by darkness. And below, if I see all these water, it's all like the water of devastation is there, creating all these powerful waves. Who am I? Why am I here? I'm born on top of a lotus, right? So first thing Brahmadi does is actually he goes down the lotus. He goes all the way close to the Garbhodakshay Vishnu. But still he cannot figure out who is this. Then he comes back and then he performs meditation, right? Performs meditation, right? And then we see after Brahma is performing meditation for 100 years, then he actually saw the Lord in his heart. So imagine like you're assigned the seva, and then the first thing you do, okay, now this guru has given the seva, so let me first pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Brahma saw the Lord in his heart, and then outside he saw Garbhodakshay Vishnu, right? And then the beautiful description of the Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and then he prayed to the Lord. So beautiful prayers. And remember the 4 main points of prayers that Brahma actually asked? That we should, it's very practical for us.
Empowerment was one of them.
empowerment, right? First thing we ask is like, okay, I have been assigned the seva, please empower me. We ask our Guru, Srila Prabhupada, the Lord, Gaunitai, please empower me to do seva. Then,
Don't get puffed up.
yeah, okay, yeah, I want to, when I do this, I should be free of false ego. I should not think that I am the doer while I'm doing the seva, right? Then third,
No deviation.
no deviation, because I'm interacting with the modes, and it's practical for us also. When we're doing some seva, we may interacting with the different modes. It's like playing with fire, right? So you have to be careful. So you should always think like I should not be deviated. I should not be like deviated. And then fourth point,
Reciprocity.
right? So while I'm doing my seva, please Krishna, you please show yourself. You please be present, and I know that I'm doing the seva in the right mood. So Brahma prayed so nicely. And then Krishna actually, he responded to the prayers. And how did he respond? Krishna actually said, do not be anxious to do this. You will receive my favor, right? And not only that, you will see me in your seva. Right? Krishna tells, you will see me in the creation. And we talked of different aspects of how Brahmaji is going to see Krishna, like through Krishna coming down as an avatar, and then how Krishna in the mouth of Mother Yashoda. And then he actually says that Rajoguna will not bind you. Okay. So that's that aspect, right? Krishna has come and blessed him. You will not be bound by Rajoguna. Don't be anxious. I've already empowered you, and you will see me in the creation. So you create. You go ahead. After that, Brahma immediately start creating? Yes or no?
He again prayed, right?
He again prayed for 100 years, 100 celestial years. Again he prayed. Okay, Krishna, you have given me this. Now again I have to pray. Krishna, please help me. Let me do the seva. Again 100 years he prayed. Right? And then now he's going to start creating. Okay. Now one may say that he has prepared himself so nicely. Imagine you're giving the seva and you have prepared yourself nicely. You have meditated, you have prayed, and Krishna himself has come and say, Tathastu, I bless you to do this seva. After that, you would expect that, okay, now everything is perfect. Now the seva should happen without any obstacles. Right? We'd expect that everything is prepared, my consciousness is ready and empowered. Now, in this chapter, we'll see, in spite of all this preparation, why did I go through this overview? In spite of all this preparation, Brahma will now face 5 different obstacles in his seva. Okay, and we'll address all these 5 as 5 Ds. D, the alphabet D. This is actually from Gaurang Darshan Prabhu. So this is 5 Ds. Okay, and okay, you can write, if you're writing notes, you can write it. The first one is dissatisfaction. First D. Second one is disobedience. Third D is disturbance. Fourth D is distraction. And fifth D is deficiency. Right? So dissatisfaction, disobedience, disturbance, distraction, and deficiency. In spite of all his efforts to do the right prayers and say, Krishna appearing, giving him blessings, we'll see how Brahmaji has to, while going through seva, deal with these 5 different kinds of obstacles. And it's very, very practical, very practical, this chapter. That while doing our seva, we may have different challenges. How do we deal through these challenges? Okay. So in text 2, so now
What is the 5th one, Prabhuji? Sorry.
Deficiency.
Deficiency. Thank you, Prabhuji.
That means that he created everything, but still it was not enough for him to actually create progeny.
Prabhuji, which is the third one?
So it starts with dissatisfaction, disobedience, disturbance, distraction, 4, and then deficiency. Okay. So the
Hare
first,
Krishna.
yeah.
Sorry. So Prabhuji, so Brahma prayed 100 years, and again after Vishnu appears, he prayed one more time and another 100 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So actually it is said that the first 100 years is said as 100 years of the human lifespan. Second 100 years is said 100 years of the celestial years of the demigods. So even different periods of time. Imagine how much he's like preparing himself to offer the seva. That itself is so inspiring. Like, when you go out for book distribution, or even when you do deity worship, right? When you go out for book distribution, first, before we start, we offer prayers to Srila Prabhupada. At least something we do. And that may be just like maybe 3 minutes. Imagine Brahma is doing 100 years before he's starting his seva. And even deity worship, like first thing we offer our businesses to Guru and say, Guru, or Guru Maharaj, I'm just assisting you in your seva. To Radha Krishna, I am just your assistant, in that way. So we pray. Okay. So now let's see what Brahma actually started creation with. Okay. So text number 2, we read the Sanskrit. Let's do the translation.
Brahma first created the nascent engagements like self-deception, the sense of death, anger after frustration, the sense of false ownership, and the illusory bodily conception or forgetfulness of one's real identity.
So what did Brahma start creating with? One may say, like, here we are describing 5 different kinds of ignorance, ajnana vritteha. He actually created 5 different kinds of ignorance. Now, who will start the creation with 5 kinds of ignorance? Right? So the point is, Brahmaji, see, he's creating this material world. And then who are the jivas in this material world? All of them who have turned away from Krishna. Okay? See, for a jiva, for each one of us, either in the liberated stage or in the dependent stage, in the conditioned state, we are completely dependent on the Supreme Personality of God. In the conditioned state, are we dependent on the Lord? In the liberated state, we can actually understand. Yes, when we are liberated, we are in the spiritual world, we are completely dependent on the Lord. Our focus is the Lord. But in the conditioned state, are we actually dependent on the Lord? Is the atheist also dependent on the Lord?
Yes, Prabhuji.
How?
Yes.
Like all the necessities.
Yeah, I mean, who's providing all the oxygen to breathe, everything? And not only that, any desire that we have, who's fulfilling the desires? It's actually Paramatma in the heart. Through the 3 modes of material nature, is fulfilling all those desires. So even in the conditioned state or in the liberated state, we are completely dependent on the Supreme Personality of God. As part and parcel of the Lord, that dependence cannot be broken. But now, because the jiva wants to be independent, so that, that artificial independence is not possible because the dependence has to be there. So the only way that the jiva can live separate from Krishna is that something covers that knowledge of dependence. Right? The forgetfulness of the dependence will allow the jiva to even live in this material world. Right? So it is all a question of forgetfulness. So that the jivas forget their dependence, so that they can try to fulfill their desires separate from Krishna, Brahma actually creates 5 kinds of ignorance. Okay? Okay. So now let's see. We'll start from the last one, and then we'll go to the top. Right? It's a more logical way of understanding. So let's see the Sanskrit. Right? So last 2 words are what? Ajnana vrittya. 5 kinds of engagements of ignorance. What is the first one? See the Sanskrit. What is the first one? Last line, first one.
Tama.
Tamaha. So first kind of ignorance is tamaha. What does tamaha mean? First kind of ignorance is ignorance of one's own self. Right? Who am I? Right? What was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first instruction to Sanatana Goswami? Jivera Swarup hoy, Krishnera Nityada. So he actually started out with that, destroying that tamaha. But the first ignorance that we have is we forget who we are. Right? So that is tamaha. Then, because of that forgetfulness, then moha. Right? If you see the second word, we are going from down to up. Right? So it says mahamoham cha moham cha tamaha. Right? So moham. What is the second one? Moha. So when we forget who we really are, then what happens? We need some kind of identity. So we start identifying with things that we are not. Like what? We identify, I am an Indian, right? I am so-and-so, I'm American, I'm a man, I'm the CEO of so-and-so company, I am in this relationship, I am so-and-so. We identify ourselves with all these identities, right? So that is moha. So first is ignorance of ourselves. We forget who we are. Second is moha. We give false designations to ourselves. Then third one is what in the verse? Mahamoha. As soon as we give designations, then what happens? We actually think, I am the owner. As soon as we say, I'm okay, who am I? Someone comes and asks you, who are you? I am CEO of so-and-so company. Then immediately what happens? Why are you the CEO? Because I possess this company. This entire company, these buildings are all mine, right? So that possessiveness, that proprietorship is actually Mahamoha. Mahamoha. That is number 3. Number 4 is what? Okay, everyone.
Tamishra.
Tamishram, right? Tamishram. What is Tamishram? As soon as we say we make that false proprietorship or possessiveness, then what happens? Someone else will come and say, like, how can you say that is yours? Actually, that is mine. I own 51% of the shares to that company. Something example. So that is mine. And there will be competition. And as soon as there's competition, then frustration, anger. You know, why is he saying this is his? This is mine actually. I created this. Competition, anger, right? So that frustration is Tamishram. And then the last thing is what?
Anda Tamishra.
Under Tamishram, the 5th kind. And what is under Tamishram? See, if you see Tamishram, that false proprietorship, the anger because our proprietorship is obstructed, right? Everything that we possess will be taken away. Your company, house, property, everything. You know, in this lifetime itself, we'll get things and they'll be taken away. But at least in this entire lifetime, there's one thing that we can say is going to be there for this lifetime. And what is that? That's our own body. Though the body is changing, but the body will say, for this lifetime, this body is going to be ours. Now, the last kind of ignorance is the fear of losing this body, the fear of death. So that is Andatamishram. The sense of death is Andatamishram, that we are forced to give up. Forced to give up. So these are the 5 kinds of ignorance. And how does this ignorance start? Tamaha. Forgetfulness of one's identity. Right? So everyone got it? So first, what do? We forget our identity. Then second, what do?
Designation.
We assign ourselves that, okay, we need some identity. So
Identity.
false ego. We'll say, okay, I am so and so. And after that, so that is second is like I-ness. I-ness. Right?
Hmm.
Third is what?
False proprietorship.
Proportion. That is like minus. This is mine, right? Aham mameti, right? So this is mine. Possessiveness, right? After, because of possessiveness, is immediately possessiveness leads to competition. Competition means anger, frustration. That is 4. And then the last one is the fear of death. So all of us are covered. As soon as we enter this world, Brahma first created 5 coverings for each one of us. So Prabhupada actually mentions that even in Patanjali, Patanjali also has accepted these 5 kinds of nishay. So this is mentioned at different places, not only Bhagavatam. The words may be slightly different. So in Patanjali's, in the same 5 words, Tamaha is referred to as avidya. Right? Tamaha is called avidya. Then moha is called asmita. Asmita. Okay. Mahamoha is called raga. Right? Like attachment, that raga. Right? Tamishram is called dvesha. Dvesha. Right? And then under Tamishram is called abhinesha. Abhinesha. Right? So different Sanskrit words, but the same 5 points. This is the cause of our existence here. This is what allows the jiva to actually live in this world, because the jiva, as I mentioned, can never be separated from the Lord, is always dependent. So Prabhupada in the purport, if you see third sentence, it says, unless a living entity forgets his real identity, it is impossible for him to live in material conditions of life. Unless we forget ourselves, it's impossible for us to live in this material condition. Therefore, the first condition is to forget our identity.
Prabhuji, the first one, Tama is avidya, and Moha is
Asmita. Then Mahamoha is Raga. Tamishram is Dvesha. Under Tamishram is Abhinesha. But it's like same meaning, but just different Sanskrit words are used in the Patanjali Sutra. Okay. So, okay. So how do we overcome? How do we reconnect our dependence on Krishna? We have to overcome these 5 ignorance. How did they start with? Tamaha, right? And hence what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when we come to Krishna consciousness, our first teaching we actually learn, Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. That is the first principle. That, okay, I have forgotten who I am. And that's why I'm able to be independent. I'm thinking I'm good. I'm thinking I'm independent, falsely thinking I'm independent. But let me just actually understand who I really are. And that is actually, I am spirit soul, I am servant of Krishna. Right? So in our spiritual life, as you have been doing sadhana bhakti, at least theoretically, we can accept this point. That, again and again, we can remind ourselves, who am I? I am a servant of Krishna. Right? Hence, everything I'm doing, I should do in a way as a service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this actually, in your Subodhini, if you see towards the end, there is actually a chart which shows these 5 things. I'll just share my screen so you can see on my screen. Okay, everyone is okay up to this point?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sharing. Share screen. Okay, here. Okay, so if you see my screen, you can see that. So this is actually from Subodhini, where it talks of 5 levels of ignorance. So it is clearly said here, Tamaha, Moha, Mahamoha, Tamishra, and Andha Tamishra, and the corresponding word, Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha. So it's all here. So you can refer to this. It's towards the end of Subodhini, in the close to the appendix, where it talks of all this. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. So in the purport, Prabhupada actually further makes the point. Yeah, so we already mentioned, unless the living entity forgets his real identity, it's impossible for him to live in the material world, right? So, right. So what is the life of a sadhaka, right? As sadhakas, what is our life? We actually want to always remind ourselves, I am servant of Krishna, I want to do service of Krishna. But again, while we are living our life, do we forget our real position? Right? How many times in the day are we conscious that our real position is servant of Krishna? Can we think about this point? Throughout the day, for how much time are we really conscious that I am actually servant of Krishna?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, okay.
Mhm.
And then even while chanting, we are not thinking that I am actually a servant of Krishna. That's why in Japa, they say one of the very powerful methods is we actually understand who am I, who am I connected to, and what is that connection. We can meditate on this before we start our Japa. So at least theoretically, again and again, like Prabhupada stresses again and again in his classes, to actually remember who we are. Because if we actually remember, we are conscious that who we are, we will forget. we'll forget and we'll do something which is not favorable to our real position. But that, if you again and again remind us, then at least we'll feel like, oh, why did I do that? We'll feel some kind of guilt. But that kind of guilt is actually good because it is saying that, oh, I forgot. And hence I'm feeling guilty that I wasted my time. So that kind of guilt is actually purifying. And that guilt will actually kind of purify us to one day we'll actually be fully conscious that, okay, I am servant of Krishna. That's my real identity. Okay? And okay. So now let's continue. So first thing that Brahma did is create 5 kinds of ignorance. Now let's continue. Text number 3.
दृष्ट्वा पापीयशीं दृशिष्टिं नात्मानं भवमन्यथा भगवद्ध्यानभूतेन मनसान्यां ततो सृजत्.
Seeing such a misleading creation as a sinful task, Brahma did not feel much pleasure in his activity, and therefore he purified himself by meditation on the personality of Godhead. Then he began another term of creation.
So the first reversal or the first obstacle to his seva is dissatisfaction. So what does this verse say? Drishtva, by seeing, Drishtva we know, right? By seeing Papiyanam, sinful creation. He created all these ignorance. And by seeing this sinful creation, na atmanam bahu, he did not feel much pleasure. Right? When we say in Bhagavad Gita, what does it say? Pratyakshagam dharam susukham kartum abhira. What is devotional service? Susukham. Supposed to be always blissful, right? But why is Brahma doing the task of creation and feeling disappointed? He did not feel much pleasure. Therefore, what did he do? Bhagavad Dhyana Putrena. He purified himself by meditation on the personality of Godhead. And Manasa Anyam Tata Asrajat. Then he began another term of creation. Right? Now, why Brahma did not feel happy? Right? So Prabhupada explains the point that Brahma was not happy because this is a thankless task. Right? Brahma himself, he is doing the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but his order actually includes the aspect of putting the living entities in illusion. And he doesn't like it. He wants to have this entire material universe so that living entities get an opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. But he had to create this. So it was like a needful seva, but he was not pleased with it. Right? So can we think about, sometimes we are given a seva and there is some aspect of a seva that maybe I have to do this, but we don't like it. We are not pleased with it. Like an example I will give. Like anything, you consider like Pujari department, right? And now there may be the head Pujari. And the head Pujari, his standard is, Prabhupada has given us the standard of cleanliness, punctuality. I have to make sure all the Pujaris are following this. Now, if someone is, because all sadhakas, we are at different levels, and, because of our conditioning, some of them may not be able to keep up with that high standard. Now, what does a head Pujari have to do? He has to go and talk, or sometimes even like, be a little heavy and say like, oh, you have to maintain good standard. You have to do this. But any devotee, Brahma himself is a devotee, any devotee will not feel happy after doing that. I had to chastise. He's come sincerely, he's doing seva, but I had to chastise him. So there are some aspects of a seva that may be needful, but they will not give us pleasure. And Brahma is actually going through that experience. Right? So Brahma is showing through his example that yes, the seva is given, but there may be some aspects which may not be pleasing. We still have to do it. We still have to. Especially, this chapter is a lot for like a leader, for someone who's in management position. There are some things like we feel like, oh, why do I have to do this? They're coming sincerely doing it, but still have to say. You have to say, right? So Brahma, he's feeling dissatisfaction. And, another example I can give is, let's say the company has given you, okay, your task now is to create some device for children, right, by which it'll be easy for them to do their education. And you create the device. But the device is also giving the children access to, let's say, the entire internet. You know? Now, if you are a sincere person, or if you have that, mood of honesty, you'll do the whole thing, but will you be happy? The thing is, I gave them, but children, if they are going to have access to the entire internet, then it is like danger. So what is my creation? Is it really worth it? It's just going to be a source of distraction for them. So in that way, doing the needful, but not feeling happy. So that's the first lesson that we learn. Okay. So Prabhupada in the purport, he says, you're not satisfied. It's a thankless task. He had to do it because, okay. So who's at fault here? Is Brahma at fault for creating this? Yes or no? No?
No.
He had to do it.
He had to do it. Okay. Is Krishna at fault for creating this? Because Krishna told Brahma, right, do this. No. Who's at fault?
The living entities.
The
Jiva.
is at fault, right? The jiva is at fault. And because the jiva is fault, Brahma had to do this, right? So Prabhupada said, Brahma is not to be blamed, nor the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's only the jiva is to be blamed, right? And then Prabhupada in the purport, he says, someone may ask, why Paramatma is the heart of every living entity, right? So Prabhupada says, the question may be raised, why the Lord, who is all merciful, helps one to remember and another to forget? Why? Lord is in everyone's heart, right? What is 15 verse of Bhagavad Gita?
Sarvasya chaham.
Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto mata smritir jnanam apavanam cha. He gives knowledge, he gives forgetfulness, he gives remembrance. So when we say, why is the Lord giving forgetfulness to the jiva? Isn't that partiality on the part of the jiva? Right? And then Prabhupada explained, no, it is the independence of the jiva. And because of the independence, the jiva actually, that free will, the free will, I should use the word free will, the free will actually gives some independence, because of which the jiva has the, it can misuse that free will. And as soon as he misuses that free will, he glides down into nescience. And then when he glides down, what happens? The Lord first protects him. Lord protects him. That don't go in the material world. Why do you want to go to this place of suffering? But if the jiva insists, no, I want to experience. I want to become Brahma. Please, Krishna, once let me see how it is pleasure to become the creator. Please. Krishna says, okay, go. Right? And once you go there, then Krishna has to create all these 5 kinds of ignorance. Right? So it is finally the jiva's fault. Right? And Prabhupada says, Brahma being the obedient servitor, he's creating all this as a necessity, but he's not happy in doing so, right? Devotee does not like to see anyone fall down from the real position. Okay. So Brahma has created this, but what is the first reversal that we see in Brahma's creation? First D, disappointment. Right? Or what do you say? Dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction. Right? First D. Okay. Now let's see the second. So after creating this, the last line, what does it say? And then he started another term of creation. So what is the next he created? Let's continue. Text 4.
Sanakam cha sanandam cha sanatanam matamabhidhi sanat kumaram chamunim nishkriyan urdvarveta saha.
In the beginning, Brahma created 4 great sages named Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara. All of them were unwilling to adopt materialistic activities because they were highly elevated due to their semens flowing upwards.
Mm-hmm. So he did the negative, the 5 kinds of ignorance. Now he says, I have to balance it. Then what did he do? What will defeat all this ignorance? Knowledge. Right? So then he created Muni. Muni means great sages, who are actually Kuyan, free from all fruitive activity. Nishkriyan, free from all fruitive activity. Urdha Retasa means that semen actually always flow upwards. Right? So, because Brahma was dissatisfied with the previous creation, now he created 4 principles of knowledge. What is the 4 principles? So, Prabhupada in the purport mentioned. First is Sankhya. Sankhya, right? Knowledge, Sankhya. Sankhya means empiric philosophy, analytical study of the material world. That is Sankhya, right? So, Sankhya, did we discuss Sankhya before? Like Sankhya analyzing the entire material elements into, earth, water, fire, air, ether, senses, and the mind, intelligence, falls. All that is Sankhya. Then second one, yoga. Second aspect of knowledge is yoga. Yoga means what? Mysticism for liberation of the pure soul. Mystic yoga, like dhyana yoga, right? So that is yoga. Then third one is vairagya. Vairagya means acceptance of complete detachment from material enjoyment to actually elevate one to the highest. Vairagya means renunciation or complete detachment. And the fourth one is tapaha. Tapaha means various kind of voluntary austerities performed for spiritual perfection. Right? So Brahma created these 4 aspects of knowledge to actually counteract these 5 kinds of knowledge. Right? And these 4 aspects of knowledge are represented by the 4 Kumaras: Sanaka, Sanananda, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar. Right? So 4 Kumaras were actually, and Prabhupada makes a point in the purport that it is actually 4 Kumaras. We have an entire Sampradaya from the Kumaras, which is known as what? Kumara Sampradaya. And who is the main Acharya in Kumar Sampradaya? Nimbarka Swami. Right? So for each one of those 4 sampradayas, there's one main Acharya. So Acharya for Kumar Sampradaya is Nimbarka Swami. Okay. So now Brahma is created to balance. He created 4 aspects of knowledge, and then the 4 sages are brought. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is actually making this point. Did Brahma actually create these 4? So, yes, Brahma created these 4, right? So now to actually really understand this, see, at the night of Brahma, what happens? People from Swargalok to below, they actually enter into the womb of Garbhadaksha Vishnu. Who are actually higher, Janalok, Tapalok, they actually remain, right? And we read, what do? The residents of Janalok during the night of Brahma? Yeah, they move upwards because of the heat, they move upwards, right? But what did they do through the entire night? We read in the previous chapter, there's a verse which says that they actually are glorifying the Garbhadaksha Vishnu, right? They're glorifying Garbhadaksha Vishnu. Now, these sages in the higher planets actually includes the 4 Kumaras. So it's not Brahma is creating these 4 Kumaras, but they are present, but now they have become a part of his creation, right? So just like how Brahma is giving the bodies to different living entities, the 4 Kumaras are different. They are beyond that cycle of day and night of Brahma. They are always there. They are in the higher planetary system, and they just appear at this time of Brahma's creation. Okay, so that's 4 Kumaras. Okay, now next, text 5. Okay, one more point that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur really mentions, that these 4 aspects. So what are 4 aspects of knowledge? Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapaha. He says these 4 are useless without bhakti. Right? These 4 are useless without bhakti, and that's the theme of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hence, when Brahma actually created these 4, then bhakti was the secondary element that was created in all these elements. Right? So bhakti was secondary, but all these 4 were the main. Right? So bhakti is also there, because vidya without bhakti is useless. Right? So bhakti is also present as the secondary item. Okay. Text 5.
तान् बभाषे स्वभूपुत्रान् प्रजासृजत पुत्रकाः तान्नैच्छन् मोक्षधर्मानो वासुदेवपरायणाः.
Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Brahma spoke to his sons after generating them. My dear sons, he said, now generate progeny. But due to their being attached to to Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they aimed at liberation and therefore they expressed their unwillingness. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. What is the second D? Disobedience, right? Now imagine you're doing the seva. You said, okay, you have to do this entire seva, and all these devotees will help you do the seva. Now, as soon as you start, right, and then devotees say, Prabhu, Mataji, can you please do this? And they'll tell, no, we will not do. We don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. It's the second obstacle or reversal in Brahma's creation. He created the four Kumaras, and then what did he say? Tan Bhabase, he addressed the four Kumaras, and Swabhu, he actually said, oh my dear sons, what do you do? Prajaha Srijata, create progeny. I want you to help me in my seva, so please create progeny. Right? And then Putraka, my dear sons, please do it. And what did they say? Na Aichan. I don't want to do the seva. Na Aichan. No desire to do the seva. Right? And why? Because Moksha Dharmanaha. And second word is Vasudev Parayana. Moksha Dharmanaha means they are pledged to the principles of moksha or liberation, and Vasudeva Parayana. They are devoted to Vasudeva. So hence, they did not want to create progeny. They did not want to engage in this materialistic aspect. Like in the previous verse, what did we read the qualities of the four Kumaras are? They are unwilling to adopt materialistic activities because they are highly elevated. Even more than Brahmaji, they were actually elevated, and their semen actually always flow upwards. That means the sign of a great, of a spiritual personality. The semen actually flows upwards. So they don't want to waste their semen in that sense of engaging in the task of procreation. Okay. Now, are the Kumaras wrong in saying no? I mean, they have to create, right? I mean, it's a seva. When someone comes and asks, Prabhu, Mataji, please take care of this. They come and say, no. Vasudev Parayan. I'm just attached to Vasudev. I don't want to do this. Are the Kumaras wrong in doing this? Okay. So I'm going to compare this, and this is an important point. So we'll compare this with another pastime that happens in the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So now, in the end of this chapter, we'll see how Swayambhu Manu is created. And the son of Swayambhu Manu is Priyavrata. Uttanapad and Priyavrata, two sons. Now, in the 5th canto, in the starting, we see that Uttanapad, his lineage was... who comes in Uttanapad's line? Dhruva. So Dhruva rules, and then his lineage goes. But all of a sudden, then at the end, Daksha comes and he says, I don't want to create, I'm going to go and meditate. So there's no one else to create, to rule the entire universe. Now, Priyavrat Maharaj, he is under the protection of Narad Muni in his Brahmachari ashram. So Narad Muni's Brahmachari ashram, Priyavrat Maharaj is right there. Priyavrat is right there. Now, Brahmaji sees no one is there for procreation. No one is there to rule this entire universe. So, in the presence of Narad Muni, Brahmaji comes, Swayambhu Manu comes. They say Lord Shiva, other personalities come. And then they tell, Priyavrat, we want to get married. We want you to create progeny or rule the universe. Now, at that time, if the four Kumaras are not wrong, Priyat Maharaj also could have said no. But he accepted that. So it's similar. The purpose, the goal is the same. The four Kumaras have to procreate. Priyavrat Maharaj has to rule and procreate. Right? One person said yes, one person said no. Four Kumaras said no, we won't do it. Priyavrat Maharaj said yes. So now, how can both of them be right? So Priyavrat Maharaj is wrong, or four Kumaras are wrong?
Four Kumaras are not in that aspect of bhakti. Like their main goal was liberation, and the bhakti aspect came after they visited Vaikunta, and when so I think that may be the one reason.
Okay, if that was the case, then why would they have specified Vasudeva Parayana?
Mhm.
You know?
Right.
So see, as I said, these four Kumaras, they are always there. I mean, they are beyond Brahma's day and night. So that episode where they actually meet, they get convert from impersonalist to personalist, it appears that this day of Brahma, they are already personalists, they are already devotees. Otherwise, they wouldn't have used the word Vasudeva Parayana. So who's right? Privat Maharaj or Fuku Maharaj?
Both are right.
Why? How both of them, one said yes, one said no. How can both of them be right?
Different services, right, Prabhuji? That is also service.
No, I mean, yeah, both of them have the same service.
They have the desire to do this one, they have desire to do this one. So we should accept both, right?
Prabhuji, is that because of some previous karmas of Priyanvrata, previous desires?
I don't think we can
Priyanvrata?
with karma. No.
Is it a matter of intention, like whether you say yes or no, like if your mood is okay for a higher purpose, the intention is important.
So these 2 points, intention, higher purpose, these two are crucial points here. So see, why did the four Kumaras say no? Was it just like, oh, Brahmaji, order is coming from you? We are actually beyond you. We are more elevated than you. We won't follow your order. No, it wasn't their intention. Their intention was for a higher purpose. We just want to focus on Vasudeva. We don't want to get disturbed from this. So we cannot do this seva. It's not our nature. Like, even practically, someone who is, more in the mood of like, I don't know if this is a good example. Like you're assigning a devotee a particular seva, and that's really contradictory to his nature. You ask someone who is just happy, like, he just goes out, distributes books, and that's his seva, just, and you go and ask him, Prabhu, you're in charge of fundraising. And he's like, it's not my nature. I cannot do it. So for the four Kumaras, it was not their nature to actually get married. And their goal, their intention is, Brahmaji, we respect you. We respect the order coming from you, but it is not our nature. That is not favorable for our Vasudeva Parayana. Hence, we cannot do it. So hence, they honestly admitted that they actually expressed, honestly said, Brahmaji, you are our father, you are a creator, we respect you, but sorry, we cannot do this because this is not favorable for our Vasudeva Parayana. And then on Priyavrat's side, it was a very circumstantial situation. Priyavat Maharaj did not want to do it. When Brahmaji came and said, oh, you please become the king. No, I am Brahmachari. I am happy with Narad Muni. I just want to go distribute books. I don't want to become temple president. Said, no, you have to do it. And Priyavat Maharaj said, because the instruction is coming from higher authority, and Brahmaji explained, by accepting this instruction, you will still be Vasudeva Parayana. You can actually have your mood of bhakti. You can still do it, even in family life. Hence, Priyavat Maharaj said, okay, it is circumstantial, it's coming from higher authority, and it's not going to disturb my bhakti. Hence, I will accept this. So both, one said no, one said yes, but both of them are right. So the intention is important, and what is the purpose behind saying? If someone says no to a seva and like, Prabhu, I am too lazy, I don't want to do it. that is not right, for sure. Or it's too difficult, Prabhu, I cannot do it. That's not right. Here, the cause, the purpose behind it is actually justified. It is justified based on their nature and based on the Shastras. So hence, both of them are actually right. Similar situation, similar instruction, one of them saying yes, one of them saying no, both of them are right. Okay. Does that make sense? Any questions on this?
Prabhuji, even Brahmaji was feeling displeasure by putting everything in everyone in Maya. Still, he did it because that was his needful seva, intent, higher purpose.
So on that point, yes, sometimes we may have to do some seva which is not like in line with our nature. But sometimes in emergency situations, it's just needed. You have to do it. But that may not be your regular seva. Like let's say big festival, Janmashtami is coming up. Now someone will say, okay, everyone, we want you to do this. Take care of the ground. I was like, Prabhu, it's not my inclination. I am more Brahmanical. But now need is there, I will do it. But if every day you ask me to do the same seva, it's not my nature. But now need is there. Emergency situation, we may do the needful, but we have a particular inclination for seva. That should be our main focus. Okay. So Prabhupada, particularly, he really stresses on this point. He says, thus concludes, thus there is nothing wrong in the acts of the Kumaras when they refuse their great father request that they become family men. Right? Okay, so text number 6.
Sovadyata sutar evam pratyakyat tanushasanai krodham durvishaham jatam niyantum upachakrame.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Prabhuji. On the refusal of the sons to obey the order of their father, there was much anger generated in the mind of Brahma, which he tried to control and not express. Hare Krishna.
So Brahma told Kumaras, create progeny. Kumara said, no, we cannot do it. And then what happened? Sir, if you see the second word, avadhyataha. Brahmaji is a creator. He is the head. He felt disrespected. Imagine like Prabhupada is giving you the seva. Okay, you have to do this. And you come and you tell the devotees, Prabhu, Mataji, you do this seva. And they say no. And you feel like, no, you feel disrespected. I just got the seva. I'm just asking you to help me. And so Brahmaji is feeling disrespected, right? Sutahi, by his sons. And why? Because what did they do? Pratyakhyataha. Pratyakhyata. That means they refuse to obey Anushasana. Anushasan, like that's also like a Hindi word, if you can relate to Anushasan, that means discipline or the order of the father. Right? And then what happened? What happened to Brahma when he was denied? He got krodham, he got anger. And what kind of anger? Durvisaham. It was very difficult for him to tolerate. And that anger was jatam. It actually got generated. And Brahmaji, what was he doing? The anger, when he was disrupted, when he said no, he became angry, but he was trying to do what? Niyantum upachakrame. He tried his best to control his anger. So did Brahmaji get angry at the 4 Kumaras? No. So this is another practical, people may say no, devotees may say no, and then you may feel angry, but he did not express that anger at the 4 Kumaras. He didn't say, oh, you are wrong. I created you. You have to do this. No, he didn't express his anger. He was feeling angry for sure. And it was so strong anger that he couldn't control it, but he didn't express it at the 4 Kumaras. A very, very practical point also. You may feel angry that, oh, why you're not doing this? But you may not express it at the devotee. Okay, so we see Prabhupada makes the point that Brahma is a director in charge of the mode of passion. Therefore, for him, getting anger is mode of passion. Right? So it was that anger came off because he's connected with the mode of passion. So in Brahmaji, what we have seen so far, when he created ignorance, which is that mode? What mode of material nature is that creating ignorance?
Tamaha.
Mode of Tamaha. Creating the 4 Kumaras, knowledge, what is that mode?
Passion.
Rajas. Goodness.
Goodness. Creating knowledge, right? Goodness. And then becoming angry. What is that mode? Raja. So we see just in this first few verses how Brahma is subjected to Sattvagun, knowledge, Rajagun, anger, Tamagun, ignorance. In 6 verses, we already see how Brahma is already subjected to these 3 modes of material nature. Right? Okay. So that's why, like even the practical point here, he did not show his anger to the 4 Kumaras, at the 4 Kumaras. He let out the anger through a different channel. So what does this practically mean for us? That sometimes in some situations we may get angry, at the devotee that, oh, why is he doing this? His devotee is chanting and he's acting like this. We may get angry, but don't express the anger at the devotee. And what we could do, like there are so many techniques that one could do. Like at that time, don't say anything. Come back, take a break, and then maybe write a journal. Like Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was saying, making this point that sometimes you get angry, you come, you write an email to that person. I don't think Chaitanya Charan, and someone was saying, some senior devotee, he writes an email expressing all the anger. How could you do this? You were in charge of this. You had to do the seva. Writes the whole email. Does not send it. And then he sleeps over it. Like, okay, I wrote it. I expressed, I let the anger out, but I didn't send it. I didn't click on the send button. And then he sleeps over it. And next day morning, after japa, after praying to the Lord, then he comes back, revisits the email. And then he's like, why am I so angry on this person? And then he's like, why should I send this? And then he'll write something which is just needed for that situation, but not venting his anger at that person. Right? So here, Brahma, we learn how he actually changed the channel. Though he was angry at the Kumar, he didn't express it. Okay, so what did he do? He was trying to control it, right? And further in text 7, let's see.
Dhiya nigyamanopi bhurvor madhyat prajapatehe sadyo jayata tanmanyu kumaro nilalovitaha.
Hare Krishna. Although he tried to curb his anger, it came out from between his eyebrows, and a trail of mixed blue and red was immediately generated. Hare Krishna.
So he didn't express the anger at the 4 Kumaras. He was trying to control it. But what happened? And how was he controlling? The first word you see, Diya, by his intelligence. You're saying, okay, the Kumaras, why they don't want to create? The intelligence, because they are actually higher than me. They're more elevated than I am, right? So I shouldn't get angry at them. So by his intelligence, he was trying to control it. But then what happened? In spite of him trying to control, Bruvor Madhye. Bruvor, like, see, what do you say here? Eyebrows, right? And if you see a Sanskrit word for eyebrows, Bruvo. It's like similar, Bruvo. So Bruvo Madhye, in between the eyebrows, what happened? The anger actually came out, and that came out as a Kumara. Kumara means a child. And Nila Lohita is actually a child which was a mix of blue and red. Right? So the blue and red is actually the indicative of the mode of ignorance and passion. Right? So blue is a mode of ignorance, and red is the indicative of passion. Right? Because anger is a product of passion and ignorance. Where do we read in Bhagavad Gita anger as a product of passion and ignorance?
Krodha bhavati sammoha. That sloka.
Okay, that is one in 262, where it talks of the entire sequence of fall down, where it says, it starts off with Dhyato Visham Pumsha, Sangasteshu Pajayate, Sangat Sanjayat Kama, Kama, Krodho Vijayate, Kroba, and then the next verse is Krodha Bhavati Sammoha, Sammoha Smritir Vipramadav, right? And so on the sequence. So it starts off with when we contemplate, oh, I should enjoy this object. Then lust develops. Lust, Dhyato Visham Pumsham, Sangha, attachment, then lust, then greed, then anger, and then from anger comes loss of memory, and then intelligence is lost, we are bewildered, and we fall down again into this material. So yes, that is one sequence of anger. Anywhere else where we actually see anger as a product of passion and ignorance directly? Third chapter. when Arjun asked, what is like, everyone knows that I should act in the right way. But even though knowing, it is as if they are acting out of force. They are doing sinful activities almost out of force. Why is that? And what was Krishna's answer?
Lust only.
Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. Right? So it is Kam esha, krodha esha. It is lust which actually gets transformed into anger, which is a product of rajoguna samudbhava, passion and ignorance. Right? So directly we see that point. Okay. Yes, so that is text 7. Okay. So interesting, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, to this purport, he makes to this comment, to verse commentary, he makes this point. So previously, what did first Brahma generate? Avidya. And how was that avidya destroyed? By vidya. And now what is happening? The vidya is now destroyed by avidya. In the sense that the anger is coming. And the anger itself is one way destroying the knowledge that he previously created. So it's both. So vidya destroys avidya, and sometimes avidya destroys vidya. So when we get angry, then what happens? Our intelligence is lost. So that's what it says. Okay. Okay, next text 8.
Savai Muroda Devanam Purvajo Bhagavan Bhavaha Namani Kurume Dhata Sthanani Cha Jagat Guru.
After his birth, he began to cry, O Destiny Maker, Teacher of the universe, kindly designate my name and place. Thank you.
Yeah. So what did this person, this Kumara, this child who was born, was red and blue between the eyebrows of Brahma? What did he do? Survey Rurodo. Right? Rurodo means crying. Started crying loudly. And then, and the words are used. Devanam Purvaja. Though he was the eldest of the demigods, Bhagwan, he was the most powerful personality. He actually started crying and he addressed the Dhata. O destiny maker, O Jagat Guru, O teacher of the universe, Namani Kuru. Please give me a name and a place. I'm coming from you. Please give me a name and a place. Right? Okay, next. Text 9.
Iti tasya vacha padmo bhagavan paripalayan abhyadhat bhadraya vacha marodishtat karomi te.
Ma Rodi. Ma means what? Where do we see the word ma? Ma Suchaha. Right? Do not be. Krishna says, Sarva Dharma Padaya, Mam Ekam Sharanam Aham Tam Sarva Papavyo, Mokshaya Shami, Ma Sucha. Do not worry. Do not worry. So here is saying, Ma Rodi. Rodi we saw previous verse also. Rodi means cry. Ma Rodi, don't cry. Right? Give us translation.
Priyanka Mataji.
Mataji, which verse is it? I'm sorry.
Text 9.
Hare Krishna. The all-powerful Brahma, who was born from the lotus flower, pacified the boy with gentle words, accepting his request, and said, Do not cry. I shall certainly do as you desire.
Iti vachaha. So he requested. When the boy came out and started crying loudly, Iti, he requested Padmaha. Padmaha means one who is born from the Padma, lotus flower. He actually, Bhagwan, that personality of Brahmaji, Paripalayan. Okay. Sorry, the Paripalayan accepted. So he actually said he pacified Abhyadhat Bhadraya. He pacified him with Jantal Vachaha. That means with gentle words. So if you see Brahma's situation, just prior to this, what was his situation? Very angry. And then that anger came out, and immediately now he's talking in gentle words. Right? And we see great personalities, how they actually switch between emotions. Even in Srila Prabhupada, many disciples have said this. At one moment, like I forget who, but I was hearing this one memories where Prabhupada was angry at some disciple. And they were sitting in the same room, and Prabhupada turned to both of them and immediately, shouting, chastising them. How could you do this? And then he turned back, and then to the rest, then he just generally started walking, talking like very casually, very gentle, immediately. So what was that? The anger was actually for a particular purpose, right? It got vented out there, and then now back to normal, right? So similarly, now Brahma is that anger has come out, and now he is actually saying, with particularly said, Vachaha, with very gentle words, he said, Ma Rodha, do not cry. I shall do Karomite. You have asked for a name and a place, I will assign to you. Don't cry, don't cry. Right? Okay, text 10.
Yad arodhi surashreshta sodvega iva balakaha tatastvam abhidhasyanti namna rudra iti prajaha. Thereafter Brahma said, O chief of the demigods, you shall be called by the name Rudra by all people because you have so anxiously cried.
So who is now appeared now? So first, ignorance. Then, four Kumaras. Now, third is Rudra. Right? Lord Shiva, Rudra. So, and how does he is addressed? So immediately, though he's come from anger, Brahmaji is saying, Sura Shrestha, oh best of the demigods. You know, he's addressing it like such a title. Oh chief of the demigods, Yat Arodhi, again the Rodhi, that word is there. Because you cried so loudly, and Sa Udvega, with great anxiety, you actually cried. Therefore, Tataha, you will be called Namna Rudra Iti Praja. All the people will call you Rudra. Right? So hence Rudra as a people. Text 11.
Why he's crying, Prabhuji?
Because he is come out in a mood of anger. You know. And because he came out in a mood of anger, you know, and we made the point that anger means there is no intelligence. So the intelligence was covered. So when he came out, he did not find a place. He was like, kind of, okay, what is my name? Where should I go? Please give me. And in that mood, he was crying. The mood of anger, the expression of anger, the tears, you know. Right. Okay, text 11.
Rid indriyanya survyoma vayur agnir jalam mahi suryash chandras tapaschaiva stananyagre kritanite.
My dear boy, I have already selected the following places for your residence: the heart, the senses, and the air of life, the sky, the air, the fire, the water, the earth, the sun, the moon, and austerity.
So Rudra asked, give me a place. And what did Brahma do? He gave him 11 places. Right? 11 places. And do we see anger in these places? First is Hridaya, heart. So when we get angry, what happens? Actually, the anger is because of, like Prabhupada mentioned, egocentric attitude. When we are getting angry, it is normally because of false ego. Like how we, even in the 5 types of ignorance, what do we say? When do people get frustrated? When that mindness is, someone is obstructing my mind. Oh, this belongs to me. And someone says, no, no, this is mine. Why are you saying? We become angry. So that anger, the cause of that anger is what? The false ego in the heart. Right? So one of the places where anger resides, where it actually originates from, that is the heart. So Hridaya. Then second one is what? Indriyani. When you get angry, then what happens? Then it comes out through our senses. Like what? The eyes becomes red. You know, anger becomes so red-eyed. You know, and maybe it's like the hands are quivering, and he's like his fist becomes like this, ready to hit. So that anger in the heart is expressed through senses. So Indriyani is the second place. Then third is Asuhu. When a person becomes angry, then what happens? He starts breathing heavily. Like, you know, so that's the third place where anger resides. Then fourth place is sky. So sky is actually mentioned because here it says, Prabhupada makes a point in purport that when there's dense clouds in the sky and where there's thunder, it appears as if the clouds are in the sky is angry. So So that is one place. And then air. Air is actually said to be okay. Air. Okay, so that one aspect of sky is what I just mentioned, that the clouds come and there's thunder. That's the anger. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also mentions the point of anger, that he says when a lion roars. So that aspect of ether, which is actually affected by that, that is also an aspect of anger in the sky. Or the air, vayuhu, air, right? The roar of the lion. Or if the winds are blowing very fiercely, that is an indication of Rudra, anger. Agnihi, fire, right? Fire burns everything. So suddenly it's like a place of anger. Jalam, how come anger is in water? And Prabhupada explains that when water is infuriated by the wind, like when you see the ocean waves, and sometimes the ocean waves are so strong, it almost appears as if the ocean is angry, right? So that's one more. Then Mahi, earth. Earth, how does anger appear in the earth? It actually appears through different weapons. When weapons are created, that's a manifestation of the anger from the earth. Then Surya, sun. How is anger expressed in the sun? When it becomes extremely hot, someone can get a heat stroke. That is anger. Chandra, moon. When it gets extremely cold, that is also anger. And the 11th place is tapaha. How is anger there in austerity? Anyone can think of an example?
Like Vishwamitra Muni.
Okay, and one more personality who gets angry very fast. Right? So he's doing so much tapaha, but because his tapa is not directly related to devotional service, that tapaha is actually connected with anger. Right? Durvasa Muni. He exhibits his anger through the acquired power. Right? Eva Sthanani. So these are 11 places where anger will reside. So Brahma said, I already assigned you these places, these 11 places. Oh, anger, you can reside in these 11 places. Prabhupada also gives the example of first canto. Who got angry towards the end of the first canto? And that is the cause of the entire Bhagavatam.
Brahmana boy.
The Brahmana boy, Shringi, right? Shringi, he got angry. How can he garland my father with a snake, that snake? Who is this king? Got angry, immediately cursed. Right? So that's also tapaha. Right? So 11 places for anger. Okay. Now further. Okay, one more point. So Prabhupada in the purport further says, see, when is anger always bad?
Prabhuji, I was just thinking all of these 11 places also could be a place of other emotions, like heart can be kind.
Yes.
And,
Yes, certainly. Yes. So, but is anger always bad?
Sometimes it's a blessing. Nalakuvera, Naradamuni curses them, right? But that's a blessing to them.
No, but anger, how is that? Who got angry there?
Like Narada got angry, right? At the
Okay.
Right.
Narada.
Yeah, he got angry. Yeah.
in a way of correcting them. So sometimes anger is necessary to correct misbehavior.
Who is examples of anger? They exhibit their anger as a service to the Lord.
Hanumanji.
Hanuman,
Hanuman.
Arjun, like if you are not angry, how will you fight? You have to be angry that, oh, Duryodhan, oh, Karna, you did this to Draupadi. Right? So anger, when they're used in Krishna's service, that kind of anger is transcendental anger. Right? So that is not any of these 11 angers. That is an anger as a service to the Lord, exhibited by Hanuman, by Arjun, etc. And beyond that, does Krishna get angry? Can we think of any example? Krishna getting angry?
Shingadev.
Nrsimhadev, yeah. Anger. My Prahlad, you dare to kill hurt my Prahlad? Anger. Right? So the anger of a devotee and the anger of a Lord is transcendental. It's not in these 11 places. It's not a manifestation of Rudra, but it is a rasa with Krishna. Right? Okay. Next. text 12. 12, 13.
Manur Mahinasho Mahan Shiva Ritadvajaha Ugrareta Bhavakalo Vaman Devo Dritavrataha.
Hare Krishna. Lord Brahma said, "My dear boy Rudra, you have 11 other names. Manu, Manu, Mahinasa, Mahan, Shiva, Rutvaja, Ugra, Retha, Bhava, Kala, Vamadeva, Drutavarta. Hare Krishna.
So these 11 names are 11 forms of Rudra, right? 11 manifestations of Rudra. Okay, next verse. These are 11 Rudras. 13.
Dhir Dhriti Rasalo Macha Niyut Sarpir Ilambika Iravati Svadha Diksha Rudranyo Rudrate Striyaha.
Hare Krishna translation. O Rudra, you also had 11 wives called the Rudranis, and they are as follows: Vi, Dhriti, Rasala, Uma, Niyut, Sarpi, Ila, Ambika, Iravati, Swada, and Diksha. Hare Krishna.
These are the 11 Rudranis. So 11 Rudras and 11 Rudranis, wives. So Brahmaji has actually said, okay, Rudra was born, and he said, give me a name and a place. So Brahmaji said, okay, 11 Rudras, 11 Rudranis. So you have a name, and this is your wives, and you are designated a place. Okay, next verse.
Griha Naitani Namani Sthanani Cha Sayoshanaha Ebisrija Prajabhavi Prajanam Asiyat Patihi.
Before reading the translation, just see the verse. From the verse, we can understand the translation. See, Grahana means to accept. Accept what? Etani, Namani, and Sthanani. Namani is names, right? So accept these names, and Sthanani means places. Accept these names and places. And Cha, Sa, Yoshanaha. And accept this along with your wives. Right? Along with your wife. Abhi with them. And Sraja. Sraja Prajaha. Bhavihi. What is the next one? Word to word, if you see. What does Brahma tell them? Now you are 11 of them with 11 wives. Do what?
Great progeny.
Create progeny. Right? So Brahma's first attempt was failure. Right? With Kumaras. So now the Rudra has come with 11 Rudranis. So he said, you create progeny. Right? And how you do it? Bhavi. On a large scale, you 11 of you just create unlimitedly. Create a lot of progeny. Prajana. Patihi, right? So you increase the population. Now, is this instruction a good instruction? For Rudra to procreate in a large scale? Okay, so this is the third D that we will see. Okay. So Brahma gave instruction with a good intention, right? His intention was, I want the seva to be done, you do it, right? He gave it with a good intention. Okay, okay, let's see what happens then. Text 15.
We read the translation.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
My dear boy, you may now accept all the names and places designated for you and your different wives, and since you are now one of the masters of the living entities, you may increase the population on a large scale. Hare Krishna.
He uses the word patihi. You are the master. Before, what was the word he used? Sura Shrestha. You are the chief of all the demigods. You are the master of all living entities. Hence, you create progeny on a large scale. Okay. Now, text 14. Oh, 15, sorry.
Iti adishta guruna Bhagavan Nila Lohitaha Satvakriti Swabhavena Sasarjatma Samaprajaha.
Okay, let's analyze it before going to the translation. Iti adishtaha. Adishtaha means like a order, right? Having received this order, Swaguruna, from his guru, right? From Brahmaji, he got this order. Then Bhagwan Nila Lohita. Nila means what? Like the color, blue, right? Lohita. So that personality, who is the most powerful Rudra, who is the color mixed with blue and red, Sasarja Atmasaha. He created, Sasarja means to create. Atmasaha means like one's own self. Atmasaha. He created like one's own self, like own prototype. He created generations. That way, similar in Sattva Akriti, and Swabhavena. So with three aspects, they were Atmasaha. What is the first aspect? Sattva. As powerful as the Rudra, he created progeny. Sattva referring to power. Akriti means the body features. Just like he had body features, he created progeny with similar body features. Swabhavena means with the same nature. What is the nature of Rudra?
Furious.
Anger.
Okay. And beyond anger,
Destroy-
to what?
Ignorance or rajas.
Destructions.
Anger leads to destruction. So Brahmaji is trying to create, and now what did Rudra
Opposite. Totally opposite.
He created all these living entities who were with these three qualities: Sattva, Akriti, Swabhavena, with the same power, with similar body feature, and with the same nature, the nature of that of Rudra. Right? Okay, then let's see what happens. Text 16.
We didn't read the
Oh,
translation.
sorry.
Hare Krishna. The most powerful Rudra, whose bodily color was blue mixed with red, created many offspring exactly resembling him in features, strength, and furious nature. Hare Krishna.
So next.
Prabhuji, like one question, like the one boy become 11, Prabhu, or
11. He expanded into 11 Rudras and he was assigned 11 wives.
okay, thank you.
Text 16. Rudranam Rudrashrishtanam Samantat Grasatam Jagat Nisham Yasankyasho Yutan Prajapati Rashankata.
Okay, so here if you see Sanskrit, one word we see asankhyasaha. What does asankhyasaha means? Unlimited. So he got the order, procreate. How you have to do it? What was the Sanskrit we read before? How was Rudra ordered to procreate? On what?
Unlimited.
On a large scale. Bhai, create on a large scale, you procreate. And here, asankhya, he created so many, expansions of Rudra. And hence it says Rudranam, Rudra Shishtana. So all those sons created by Rudra with generative Rudra, they actually samantat. They assemble together. And what did they start doing? Grishatam Jagat. See the word to word. Grishatam Jagat. They started devouring the entire universe. Imagine you're given this seva. Okay, you're giving a particular seva. And first attempt, ignorance, dissatisfied. You're like, oh, it's not working out. Then second attempt, you said, okay, Prabhu Mataji, do this. I was like, we cannot do it. We are not going to do it. Assign someone else to do it. Okay, disappointment or disobedience. Then third, he created, okay, you do it. And instead of doing the seva, they said, okay, we'll do the seva, and then they destroy the whole thing. Imagine, Brahma's intention is just to create the material world. And that creation has led to the destruction of everything. And all these, how many are there? Asankhya. They started destroying the universe. Imagine just the opposite of what Brahma wanted, right? So the third one, D, is disturbance, right? These personalities, they were doing Jagat Grashatam. They started devouring the entire universe. And then what was Brahma's reaction to that? Prajapati, what was it? Last word? Asankataha. He became afraid. I want to create. And now they're destroying everything. Imagine you're building a temple and you say, Prabhu Mataji, you are good. You can actually assign people. And the people start coming. And instead of creating the temple, they start breaking everything. It's like, I want to build a temple. And they started breaking everything. Right? So was Brahma wrong in giving that order to Rudra of creating progeny? Was he wrong or right?
His intention was right, but then it led to a
So that point is so nice, right? Our intention in doing the seva may be right. And we can say, Prabhupada, I just want to do this. This is my intention. That's why I told them to do it. But what is the problem here? If intention was right,
But he was angry when Rudra was created.
okay, but still he was thinking like, okay, Rudra is there, Rudrani is there, they will procreate, and that's my task. So intention was right. And
Without
Rudra
So,
followed the right instruction, right? What
it has
instruction?
to be the
Guruna?
right person, right? It has to be assigned to the right person. Intention.
Yes. So intention was right. And then the person who received the order, they executed it properly. But what was lacking is that lack of experience of what is the nature of that person. I mean, this whole thing is like a lot on leadership and practical devotional service. So if you assign a particular seva, then you should know what is the nature of that person. If you don't know the nature and you assign a seva, then instead of he will follow the seva, but that seva, following the seva, could actually lead to opposite results of what you actually want. Right? Okay. And then here Brahmaji actually became afraid. So we can read the translation.
The sons and grandsons generated by Rudra were unlimited in number, and when they assembled together, they attempted to devour the entire universe. When Brahma, the father of living entities, saw this, he became afraid of the situation.
Right. So if you again go back to how Brahma created, we saw how much he meditated, right? He saw Vishnu, right? Vishnu in the heart, Vishnu outside. He prayed to Vishnu, 4 things he prayed for. And then after receiving the order, he meditated for another 100 years. He did everything. And then see his creation. His seva. 3 obstacles we have already seen, 3 reversals in his seva. First is dissatisfaction, second, disobedience, third is disturbance. Right? So what does this practically mean for us? That even though we may be assigned seva, we have seva assigned by Srila Prabhupada, we should actually expect obstacles in our seva. This is the nature of the material world. We are in Maya's kingdom. Right? So having the mood of expecting obstacles, that, okay, this is going to come, obstacle is going to come. Then what does that mean for us internally? Internally, it means that I have to be so determined to do the seva that there is going to be obstacles, but I have to keep going. I have to keep going. Externally, I have no control of what obstacles are going to come. But internally, if I'm determined to do the seva for Guru, then I can keep going. Right? And then, yeah, so that's a very important point. And here we see also the other very important point, that when we are actually associating devotees or, assigning some seva to a devotee, we need to know what is the nature of devotee. If we are not aware of the nature, then it could lead to opposite results. I'm thinking of some examples. And maybe you have some example. You assign a seva to a particular person and he does it with the right thing, but that actually spoils the whole thing.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes.
Regarding this point, the nature of the devotee, I have a question that by janma, they have by birth, they have all this guna, right?
Okay.
Then the original, the guna is there, then they are doing not particular follow that guna, right? So how they can do particular, if they have different circumstances, if they are doing different stuff, so they are not good at that time, right? Because by the birth, they have already qualities are there, right? The guna. And if they are doing for circumstances or whatever, they have to do different stuff. So, but they are not doing.
You're talking of seva, Mataji, different services in devotional service?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so see, the point is like one is yes, certainly by Janma, we have certain qualities, based on our past karma. But the whole point is why are we studying Bhagavad Gita is because we have potential to actually get trained. We may have certain qualities, some certain negative qualities, we want to give it away. And those which are, are in line with our inclination, we want to fan the spark in one way. We want to actually develop those qualities. So when we come to devotional service, maybe we have an inclination, let's say, of gardening. And now someone will say, okay, you have an inclination. Why don't you do the take care of the garden of Radha Goloka and the garden? So then he'll say, okay, I need to get trained to do this. So is there a senior devotee who's always done this? Maybe I will assist him and that way I will learn. So the whole process is actually learning, getting trained, but certain inclination is that we are just working, getting trained along the lines of that inclination. Negative things are there that we have to gradually purify, that we are chanting, we are reading, associating with devotees, abhadra in our heart will go away. But the natural tendencies can be engaged in Krishna service. And for that, training is required. And hence we always we want to start a seva. Like someone just comes new bhakta, we won't say okay, organize the whole festival. We'll say, can you assist this person in organizing? And that way he's getting trained.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So importance of assigning services based on the propensity of the devotee. Okay. Okay. So we'll just do one more and let's stop there. We'll take a break. Text 17.
Alam prajabhi shishtabhir idrishibhi surotama maya saha dahantibhir dishas chakshudbhir ulbhanaye.
Did we read the translation of the previous ones?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's go 17, the translation.
Brahma told Rudra, O best among the demigods, there is no need for you to generate living entities of this nature. They have begun to devastate everything on all sides with the fiery flames from their eyes, and they have even attacked me.
They even attacked me. So all these sons, generations of Rudra, not only they were devouring the entire universe, they were coming to devour even Brahmaji, destroy Brahma. Imagine Brahma is the one who's trying to create. You almost feel like compassion on Brahma. That he's trying, he did everything, and now he's trying to create obstacle, obstacle, obstacle. And this obstacle is the worst of all. That all these people, they are actually killing Brahma. They're coming to Brahma and trying to destroy Brahma. But what did the Brahma tell Rudra? O Sura Uttama, O best of the demigods, there is no need for you to continue your seva. Imagine this. This is so practical. Someone is doing seva and you have to come to him and saying Prabhu, please, I don't think you should do this seva. Please go and chant Hare Krishna. And see, the point is, it wasn't Brahma out of a dislike towards Rudra. He actually said that. He just said, Rudra, this seva right now is not the right time. Let's say someone is good at wrapping up a festival. Okay, for chairs are there, you need to fold up the chairs, you need to clean the table, everything. And at the starting of the festival, when you're setting up everything, that person is there and you're trying to set up and he comes and is like, why is this table here? We should fold it. Let's keep it there. Hey, Prabhu, this is not the time. Now the festival is going to start. At the end of the festival, you can come and do your seva. Please, now you go and chant Hare Krishna. So Brahmaji is actually telling, no need to continue your seva. And sometimes it's hard to tell someone that, Prabhu, please, not now. This is not your seva, right? But based on the nature of the person, you may have to say. And he says, Alam Prajabi, Shishtabi Idrisha, no need to unnecessarily generate this kind of living entities. Your seva is not required now, but later on, when there's a time for annihilation, I will call you. Your seva is important at that time. You can do it at that time, but not right now. Okay. Okay. And
Prabhuji, did Brahma destroy all these progeny of Rudra? Or were they still living?
18. Let's read 18. Okay. Let's continue. 18.
Tapa atishta badram te sarvabhuta sukhavaham. Tapasaiva yata purvam shrashta vishwamidam bhavan.
Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear son, you had better situate yourself in penance, which is auspicious for all living entities and which will bring all benediction upon you. By penance only shall you be able to create the universe as it was before. Hare Krishna.
So now Mataji Vijay Radhika Mataji's question. What did Brahma tell them? He said, okay, stop. Don't do this right now. And then here he's saying, my dear son. There's so much affection. He's not saying that, Rudra, stop. Get out of here. Out of so much affection, he's saying, my dear son, right now is not the time, right? And I say, you actually better, you go, you chant Hare Krishna. Go finish your rounds. Right? So you better do penance. And he actually said, which will be auspicious for all living entities. It'll be good for you, it'll be good for everyone. Do penance, do tapaha. It will bring benediction all upon you. And then the very key point here, right? What does, if you see the Sanskrit, Brahmaji is saying, the last part, tapasa eva yatha purvam shishta vishwam idam bhavan, yourself. So the word bhavan, yourself, is actually very key here. Why? Because Brahma is telling Rudra, he's saying, this is our service. He's not saying, see, he's actually changing the perspective of Rudra. Okay, Rudra is in charge of destruction. But he's saying, right now, our service, including you, Lord Shiva, our service is to create this universe. And I was thinking about this point, that yes, we all have particular path in a seva or particular nature, but as soon as we say, oh, this entire seva we are doing together for the service of Srila Prabhupada. So if that person is just like, oh, why did he tell me to stop? Instead of that, he's thinking that, oh, we are all in this together. So now is time of creation, then maintenance, then annihilation. Okay, my service is needed at that time, and we are doing this together. It's all for Srila Prabhupada's pleasure. Let's do it. Then immediately that person's perspective changes and saying like, okay, even I am actually doing this. I am a part of the whole team, And he says, Bhavan, even you shall be able to create the universe as it was before. Bhavan, even you are a part of our creation, but not right now. Later, due to annihilation. Right? So immediately he changed the whole perspective of Lord Shiva. So to have that entire mood of that, okay, it's not that this is your seva, this is your seva, this is no. The whole seva is for Prabhupada. Right? Everyone has an important part. And at particular time, I'll call you, you can do the seva. Right? Change the whole perspective. So Brahma is doing that to Rudra. Okay, let's stop here. So to Vijay Radhika Mataji's question, he said like, don't do your task now. Go chant Hare Krishna. Okay. When you're done, when the time is right, I will call you to do your seva. Okay, so we did 3 Ds, right? One is, what was the first D?
And dissatisfaction.
Second D?
Disobedience.
And third D?
Disturbance.
Destruction.
So 3 Ds we have seen. Like one may think that after Brahma did all the meditation, everything should go smoothly in his seva. He just should create and everything should be like, okay, progeny creating everything. But still we see 3 reversals we have already seen. And they're not easy. Still Brahma was determined. And he said like, no, I have to continue, Right? But he was acting in such a way which is a practical example for everyone. Okay, let's stop. Any comments, questions, realizations?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I think Vijayaradhika Mataji's question is like, what happened to the progeny that already created?
So Brahma said, okay, now you don't do your task. You just go and you perform penance.
Okay. So, okay.
They are still there. All the descendants of Rudra are there, but they are just doing penance.
Thank you.
Just like that's why I was saying, like, you go, you chant Hare Krishna. You're there. We are doing this together. But right now you chant Hare Krishna. And later, when it's needed, I'll call you.
Vijay, I was thinking about how much whatever may be the task and how difficult can be the task. But if we pray to the Lord for empowerment and whatever disturbance and reversals will come, be determined to continue the seva for the pleasure of the Lord, and then it can be done.
Determination. Very nice one. So many points we discussed today. Any other points, please? If you all can share, it'll be nice. It'll be beneficial for everyone. Like how in the previous verse it said, it will be benediction upon you and it will be benediction upon everyone. So, any point?
Great people can switch between emotions.
Very nice, bro. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So the 5 points, bro, like forgetting our real identity, and then we add a designation to that, and then the false ownership will come from that, and
Possessiveness.
yeah, competition and frustration will start, and then the death will come.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to think about these because we are trying to overcome all these five, right? So basically, our sadhana is we are fighting these five ignorance. And just fighting this, like getting cleared of this is not enough. We have to develop the positive attachment to Krishna. So we overcome these five by developing a positive connection to Krishna. Right? Thank you. Any other points?
Hare Krishna, I really like the example that you gave, Prabhuji, about assignment during Janmashtami, folding the chairs, like only after everything is done, like all the progeny of Shiva, wait until that is a wonderful way to understand. Thank you. Prabhuji.
Thank you.
I really like the point that Vidya without bhakti is useless, Prabhuji.
Vidya without bhakti is useless. Very nice.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I like the point of Brahmaji did not express his anger towards Kumaras, but to show the anger. He tried to suppress, but a practical example for us is, don't show anger on the object.
On that person, don't express it. Like take a break, maybe write a journal or write an email, but don't click the send button. And then after you have already processed, then maybe you chant your rounds, you pray to Krishna, and then you can see how to deal with the situation. Very nice. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I like the point. No matter what externally obstacles are going to come, but internally we should stay strong and keep going in our service.
Nice, very nice. Thank you. Beautiful point.
I also like the point that we should expect that there will be obstacles in our seva, and just having that mindset, okay, and not immediately quitting when as soon as there's some problem, but just I'm going to keep going even though there's these problems. And I also like the point that when we don't know what decision to make, like whether to do something or not, like yes or no, at least if our intention can be trying to be in the mood of service, okay, please guide me, Krishna, like what I should do in this situation, like Priyavrata and the four Kumaras. But the intention is please, to be in the right mood of service, whether it's yes or no, but like at least our intention should be pure, like to be engaged in service.
Very nice. Thank you.
It felt like this is a management class, like
It's true.
Practical class.
like so many practical examples from in the real life by studying Bhagavatam.
Yeah, like anger is like Brahmaji's anger. Like, for instance, like anger is like pressure cooker. If we hold, then it's like pop up like, so like Rudra is came.
I was thinking about this previous chapter and this chapter. It is so practical for us. And Brahma is the head of a sampradaya. So through like the prayers, the mood of approaching the seva, and then while doing the seva, he's practically showing each one of us the entire line of devotional service. Like, when your seva has come, how do we start? How do we approach? How do we expect obstacles? There's actually a beautiful class I recently heard of Rana Swami Maharaj, what he actually talks about this, that how by expecting obstacles, he makes it more general. He talks about in our life, not only in a seva, but in our life, expecting challenges. If we are always in the mood of expecting, then when it comes, we know it's going to come. We'll be prepared. Yeah, this was expected. And when it does not come, then we feel grateful that, oh, Krishna actually took care of it. It was supposed to come, but Krishna took care. And he gave such a beautiful class just on the mood of like how having that mindset of expecting actually gives a mood of gratitude. And at the same time, when it comes, you're actually already prepared to deal with it.
You please share that.
Yeah, share the link.
Okay. Anything
Yeah,
else?
I also like the point that by changing the whole perspective, when we say that we are in this together, all we are trying to do is to please Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, then everyone will do the service nice.
Yeah, such a nice point. Changing the, like even while cooking, like cooking seva. Like someone will be doing something and like, that's not the right way to do it. And you have a particular way. Potatoes have to be cut this size, and the person is just coming in, like doing it. Prabhu, we have to do it fast. It has to be like this. And you might say, Prabhu, maybe you should do the other seva right now. And if what this a person says, why I came, I came early to do the seva, and now they're not even allowing me to do the seva. But if the perspective is, Prabhu, together we want to make a nice offering for Krishna, and I think you can really do this seva very nicely. We are all together. Then the person will not feel that, okay, this is not my seva. Okay, I can contribute in some other way. There's so many opportunities. So immediately the whole perspective changes. So there's nothing personal there. It's just together as a team we are doing it for Krishna. Okay.
So for seva, everybody has to like ready, including me, that any kind of seva, not like I want to do this only this. That is the attitude we have to change, right?
I mean, like as I said, emergency situations, we should be open to everything. Right?
Yeah, everything.
Sweep
Any
the
kind
floor,
of
clean the
seva for the
bathroom,
Lord.
give Bhagavatam class. Okay, sure. No one is there, I will do it. Whatever is the seva. But we have to see what is our also nature. And we see like, okay, emergency situation, I'll do it. But I may not be able to do it every time you ask me to do the same seva. It's not my nature, bro. Like maybe my nature is more of this. But also to find our nature, my experiences, it takes years of doing different kinds of seva to actually say, okay, this is my seva. So for us, I mean, it depends where whether how is our the introspection, but many times it's like for years we come to a temple, do seva, do seva, do this seva, do this seva, do this, and then after years we'll realize actually this is a seva where I feel most connected, where I feel I can contribute the most to Prabhupada's movement. But that also takes like years to actually come. So until that, we are open to everything. Whatever is required, we do the same.
Yes, it takes time. Yes.
Time to actually see that. Okay, let's stop here. 9 o'clock. So we'll take 5 minutes break and then we'll continue with number 4. I don't think we'll come to 5, but number 4 we will actually do. That's also very interesting. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So 5 minutes, please come back.
Namo. Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Let's continue. It's very interesting, the last D that we are going to discuss soon. But few verses we'll see, we can go fast. It's basically the another aspect of creation, and then we'll come to the last D. Okay, so let's continue. We did text 18, right? So now we text 19.
Tapasaiva param jyotir bhagavantam adokshajam sarvabhuta guhavasam anjasa vindate puman. Okay, that's Lavanga Manjunathi. Or maybe whoever wants to go next.
I can read. By Hare Krishna, by penance only can one even approach the personality of Godhead, who is within the heart of every living entity, and at the same time beyond the reach of all senses.
So it's a very nice verse, this text number 19, where it is also like one can say a very general verse also. It is based on this particular context, but also a very general point that what is it? Tapasa eva. What do you say? Hare Nama eva. Eva means only. So only by penance can one actually, first point is Param Bhagavatam. One can actually reach or understand Param Bhagavatam, the personality of Godhead. Second adjective used to describe the Lord is Adokshajam. Now, so many times we have heard the word Adokshajam. Anyone quickly remembers a verse with Adokshajam? Bhagwantam Adokshajam. And you can search it. So there are many times we hear the word Adokshajam. Meaning of Adokshaja is what?
Beyond sense perception.
Beyond the sense perception. So how can you actually reach someone who is beyond our senses? Only through penance. So first is Param. He is actually transcendental, right? He is completely spiritual, transcendental personality. Second is beyond the approach of senses. Third is Sarva Bhuta Guhya Avasam. He's actually residing in the heart of all living entities. Every living entity, Krishna is there. But how can you reach him? He's right here. He's the closest to us, but you can reach him only through penance. And hence, so when when Brahmaji is telling Rudra that, okay, now is not your time, go and do penance, he's actually giving the motivation, the reason behind that. So one can also practically consider that someone, you can say something, Prabhu, maybe not this seva. I'll give you the other seva because that seva is the so many points, right? So similarly here saying, do penance. Why? Because penance is the only way you can reach Param Bhagwantam, the Adokshajam, and the Sarva Bhuta Guhya Asam. You can only completely know that personality only through penance. Therefore, O Rudra, go and do penance. Go and chant Hare Krishna. Okay. So next verse, text number 20.
Maitreya Uvacha Evam Atma Bhuvadishta Parikramya Giram Patim Badham Ityamun Amantrya Vivesha Tapase Vanam.
Let's try to see this word to word before we go into translation. Evam tas evam adishtaha. So after being instructed, where is it? Oh yeah. Evam adishta. You see the word later. Adishta comes. Adishta means in the last, like Atmabhu Adishta, right? So Evam Adishta, being requested by Atmabhu. Who is Atmabhu? Brahmaji, right? So self-manifested. What did the Lord Shiva say? Did Rudra say that, oh, how can you tell me this? That's not right. I was doing the seva. You asked me to do it. I did that seva. How can you tell me not to do this now? No. What was Rudra's mood at this time? He actually parikramya Giram Patim. He actually circumambulated the master of the Vedas. He circumambulated Brahmaji and he was not angry. Neither did he show disrespect to Brahma. Because Brahmaji had requested him, the seva happened, but it was not what Brahmaji was expecting. Brahma told him stop, and Rudra was like, okay, if you want me to go and to perform penance, okay. He just circumambulating, not showing any disrespect. And then what did he do? He circumambulated, and then he said, Badam iti. This is right. What you're saying is right. So it is so nice, the mood that we see that Rudra is like offering respect and saying, I agree. What you're saying is okay. I'm not angry with you or anything. Badamiti. What you're saying is right. Amantra, thus he addressed, and then what did he do? Vivase tapasevanam. He actually entered into the forest to perform tapasa. Right? So even that even though the service was like he did it and it was like, okay, don't do it, but still Rudra is in that mood of like respect, and he said like, okay, what you said is right. There is no like this disagreement between us, or any negative feeling. I accept it. What you said is right. I'll go to the forest. So he left, right? So this actually completes that third D, right? Third D, third part of this creation. Now let's see what did Brahma do next, right? So we can just do the
Translation.
translation. Yeah, go ahead. 20 translation.
Hare Krishna. Sri Maitreya said, thus Rudra, having been ordered by Brahma, circumlated his father, the master of the Vedas. Addressing him with words of assent, he entered the forest to perform austere penances. Hare Krishna.
So he went into the forest to do austere penances. Okay. Now let's continue. We'll just do the English for next few verses, and then again we'll start Sanskrit when I tell you. So let's continue 21 English.
Brahma, who was empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of generating living entities and begot 10 sons for the extinction of the generations.
Extension, right?
Extensions.
Actually extend the generation. So Brahma, that episode of Rudra is over. Now what did Brahma decide? Did he get disheartened that, oh, third attempt, a problem? No. He was like, okay, this is done. Now let me continue the creation. And while thinking, abhidhyayatah, right? But is the first word. Atha abhidhyayat. Thus thinking in this way, Dashaputra. Dashaputra means 10 sons he actually got. And particularly, if you actually, this verse we should have done in Sanskrit, but anyway, the second line, it says Bhagavad Shakti Yuktasya Loka Sanatana Hetavaha. Right? So Bhagavad Shakti Yuktasya, Yukta means with the Shakti of Bhagavan. So why is Maitreya Rishi using these words to actually again remind us that this entire creation that Brahma is doing is only after being empowered by the Lord? He cannot do it on his own, right? And this is also another key point here is who is the 10th son here? Anyone knows without seeing?
Naraji.
Naraji. And Naraji actually represents Bhakti, right? So how can Brahma himself create someone who is representing Bhakti? No. It is only because he's empowered Bhagavad Shakti Yuktasya. He can actually create a son who actually represents Bhakti, right? Narad Muni. Okay. So he got 10 sons. Okay, now we can do this English. Continue, 22.
मरीचि अत्रि अंगिरा पुलत्स्य पुलह Kratu, Bhragu, Vashishta, Daksha, and the 10th son Narada were thus born.
So 10 sons, and the last one was Narad Muni, right? Daksha, we'll read more about Daksha. Vashishta's name comes many times. Bhrigu Muni we have heard. Pulatsya we have heard. Angira Rishi we have heard. Marichi. So all these sages we have heard in different pastimes. But the last one is Narada. Now, of all these 10, who is the most important? Narad Muni, right? We have heard these different sages, but the person who comes again and again, and who is the spiritual master of Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, so many personalities all throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, that Jagat Guru, that spiritual master, his name is actually mentioned the last. Why last? And Prabhupada explains the point very nicely in the purport. He said the entire material creation is for, what is our keyword? Why, what is the reason of this creation? What is our acronym?
RRA.
RRA, very nice. Reform our rebellious attitude. That's the whole purpose of our creation, right? So, for reforming our rebellious attitude, what is the final point that will really reform us? It is only through bhakti, right? And because the end of, how do I say this? Right. So let's put it this way. So if you consider Gyan, Vairagya, Tapaha, yoga, karma, all these different processes which are actually mentioned, they can become successful only when they are combined with bhakti. Otherwise, they are useless. So bhakti on that way is actually not dependent on this, but bhakti is gives the results to all the other processes, right? So all the other processes are complete when there's bhakti, and hence bhakti is actually represented as the last because the bhakti appeared in the form of Narada Muni. Okay, so that's right. So Prabhupada makes a point. Without devotional service to Lord, one cannot make progress in any department of activity. Without bhakti, everything else is worthless. Although devotional service is always independent of anything material, right? And then proper last sentence of the verse, only by the transcendental loving service of the Lord can deliver the real goal of life. And thus the service rendered by Shriman Narad Muni. Like Prabhupada doesn't use this word so much. Shriman Narad Muni, he's giving so much respect, is the highest among all the sons of Brahma. Okay. Okay, let's continue. 23.
So, Priyanka Mataji already read, so I'll read. Narada was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which is best part of his body. Vashishta was born from his breathing, Daksha from a thumb, Bhrigu from his touch, and Kratu from his hand.
So we'll be reading how the different sons appeared from which part of the body. But Narada, that is one thing that we should discuss, is born of the deliberation. So Prabhupada makes a point in the first line of Prabhupada. Narada was born from the best deliberation. And hence, because Narada was born from the best aspect of Brahmaji, hence he is actually able to deliver the Supreme Lord to anyone he likes. So who did Narada deliver the Supreme Lord to? We discussed few examples, Dhruva, Prahlad, so many different examples, right? And what is the meaning of Narada? Nara actually refers to who? Narayan. Narayan, Nara. And Da means one who actually gives Narayan to others. So Narada itself means the one who is the giver of Narayan to others. How he gave Narayan to Dhruva Maharaj. So that way he is Narada. Right? So Prabhupada also makes a point. Giver of Narayan. Is Narayan a commodity to give to someone? No, he's not a commodity. But when we say that a devotee is giving Krishna, that means he's giving transcendental, loving, devotional service to Krishna. Because by that service, Krishna is conquered. So Narada is giving devotional service to everyone. Okay, okay, continue. 24.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Pulasya was generated from the ears, Angira from the mouth, Atri from the eyes, Marichi from the mind, and Pulaha from the navel of Brahma.
So the verses that we are seeing, basically if you see Subodhini, I'll share my screen. You can see here in this chart, right? So you have, see, Narada from deliberation, the best part of his body. Vashishta from breathing, Daksha from thumb, Bhrigu from touch, Kritu hand, Pulasya ears, Angira mouth, and then Atri eyes, Marichi mind, Pulaha navel of Brahma. And I'll just continue, and then we'll read these next verses. So 25, which we'll read next, it says, religion is coming from the breast, the chest of the Lord. Irreligion is coming from the backside. Right? Dharma is coming from the front, adharma from the back. And 26 will talk about different, like lust and desire comes from the heart, anger between the eyebrows, greed from the lips, power of speaking, mouth, ocean from the penis, low and abominable activities from the anus. Right? So this. And then 27 will be Kardam Muni. Kardam Muni is not among the 10 sons. He is born out of the shadow of the Lord. So we'll discuss this. So let's start with 25. We just want to show this chart. Okay, let's continue.
25. Hare Krishna. Religion was manifested from the breast of Brahma, wherein seated the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, and irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhupada makes a point that religion is manifested from the breast or the heart of Brahmaji. And why from the heart? Who resides in the heart? The Lord resides in the heart of every jiva. Because the Lord resides in the heart of every jiva, religion comes from the heart of Brahmaji. Right? And Prabhupada in the purport makes a point. Both Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam confirm that real dharma is what? Bhagavad Gita confirms what real dharma is. Sarva dharma parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Bhagavatam establishes what is real dharma.
Tavaipumsa parodharma.
Tavaipumsa parodharma yato bhakti radakshana. Both of them, because they are actually connecting us with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is in the heart of every living entity. Religion comes from the heart. Irreligion, it comes from the backside. You know, that's where the horrible death takes place for the living entities. Right?
Prabhu, is the Narada Muni we're reading about, is the Narada we're reading about here the same as Narada Muni, or are they two different beings?
No, same.
So
I think your question is, isn't Narada already there, and how is he appearing in the sun? Is that what you're thinking?
no, I'm thinking of Narada's mother, and then does Brahma have a wife? And
No. So you're talking of the first canto, the story of Narada, that when he was born as a son of a maidservant. Yeah. Okay. So
yes.
like Bhagavatam, the stories may be in different kalpas, right? And also we make the point that Narada, he was Upa Brahma, right? He was a Gandharva, and how in the assembly of Kirtan, he came to a temple and he started singing Bollywood songs. It was all supposed to be Harinam Kirtan, but he came and he started singing Bollywood songs, and then he was cursed that you take birth as a mother, a womb of a Shudra. So when we read all these stories, see, Narada is always there, one day. He's an eternal associate of the Lord. But these personalities, they go through certain past times just for us to learn a lesson. And why is Narada even telling that entire story to Vyasadeva? To actually show that finally bhakti is the essence of everything. And hence you have to compile Srimad Bhagavatam where the entire emphasis is just on bhakti. Right? So even like how I mentioned with the 4 Kumaras, the 4 Kumaras are already there. It's not that Brahma is creating them. They are about this day and night of Brahma. They also live 100 years of Brahmaji. But they just appear at the time. So similarly, Narad Muni is just appearing as a son. He's already there before. And these personalities, they may go through certain pastimes, but that is more for teaching a particular lesson. Okay, so it's the same Narad Muni. Okay, so Prabhupada in the last line of the purport, he says, anything which does not lead to devotional service to a Lord is adharma. Anything that leads to devotional service is dharma. Who can give such a definition? Only one who knows the essence, the glory of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because it is only in Srimad Bhagavatam that dharma actually means parodharma. In other scriptures, dharma could mean your Naimitika dharma, your Kshatriya dharma, your Pati dharma, all those dharma. But only Bhagavatam says all those are secondary. Real dharma means devotional service. Right? So hence, based on that, Prabhupada says, anything that leads to bhakti, that is dharma. Anything that does not lead to bhakti, adharma. And for us, as followers of Srila Prabhupada, this is our definition of dharma and adharma. Right? Okay, let's continue. 26.
Hare Krishna. Lust and desire became manifested from the heart of Brahma, anger from between his eyebrows, greed from between his lips, the power of speaking from his mouth, the ocean from his penis, and low and abominable activities from his anus, and the source of all sins. Hare Krishna.
So this first thing from Riddhi, didn't we just say that dharma came from the heart? So how come it says that lust and desire is also manifested from the heart? Actually, Prabhupada in the purport, he elaborates that actually here when it says Riddhi, it means the mind. The mind is also situated here, right? So from the mind came lust and desire, right? And that's the manifestation of the mind. Then Krodha came from, before also we saw Krodha came from between the eyebrows. So same thing here. Then greed, Lobha came from lips, power of speaking. So if you see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 of them are negative, 1 of them is positive. Why is this like this? 5 of them negative, but 1 of them is positive. What is the positive? the power of speaking came out through the mouth. Right? Ocean is kind of like maybe neutral, but low and abominable activities, certainly that's negative. Right? So why all these negative qualities and one is positive? So the point is actually made, Prabhupada explains in the purport, that though human beings, though this lust and other negative factors is there, but it is possible to develop wisdom through the words. And hence, even though these negative qualities is mentioned, one positive is that through the wisdom of the words, all the negative can be overcome. So when Brahma is creating, what do you do first? Ignorance. To compensate that, four aspects of knowledge. So similarly here, he's creating 5 negative, but to compensate that, he's actually giving the power to speak. And by speaking wisdom, then we can actually overcome these. Right? So he's doing both positive and negative. So negative because the jiva wants it, positive so that the jiva can get liberated. Make sense? Okay. Everyone okay? So Prabhupada actually mentions the power of speaking Saraswati, or the goddess of learning. Right? So even a man endowed with, okay. Yeah. So, okay, 27.
Sage Kardama, husband of the great Devahuti, was manifested from the shadow of Brahma. Thus all became manifested from either the body or the mind of Brahma. Hare Krishna.
So here is saying the last one here, Kardama. Kardama is born from the Devahutya Patihi. So interesting that Kardama is addressed as husband of Devahuti. Normally it's the other way, right? We address the wife as a husband of this. But here, we see even the Bhagavatam is making the point. Like, what is the other example? A great personality is referred to by his wife's name.
Lakshmipati.
Okay, Lakshmipati. And in Gaur Leela?
Sitapati.
Sitapati. Advaita Acharya is called Sitapati. Right? So here, Devahiti Pati, that is Kardama. How is he born? Chayaya. Chayaya means from the shadow of the personality of Brahmaji, right? Prabhu. And thus, all the people are either born from the mind or from the Dehata. Either Deha or Manaha of Brahmaji. All these personalities are actually born. Okay. So, one very interesting point here. So, if you see the 9 sons which were mentioned before, right? They are either created in a mode of passion or ignorance, right? Rajaha or Tamaha. And all those 9 are actually into fruitive activities. And we'll see that how all these 9 are sages when they do. They are really into like getting into activity, doing procreation, etc. Kardama is actually in which mode? He's created in the mode of Sattva. Right? So 9 sons in the mode of Raja and Tama, Kardama in the mode of Sattva, and Narada in which mode? Transcendental. Transcendental, right? So we see in Brahma's creation, there are aspects from the mode of passion, ignorance, aspect from the mode of goodness, and transcendental. Before also we mentioned this, right? What was created from Sattva? 4 Kumaras. What was created from passion? Anger. What was created from Tama? Ignorance. 5 kinds of ignorance. So we see how the modes are acting actually, even Brahma's creation is in these 3 modes. Okay. And Prabhupada makes the point that 3 modes are never represented in the unalloyed state. As soon as there's Raja and Tama, there will be at least some tinge of Sattva. And through that tinge of Sattva, then Kardamuni actually manifested. Right? So a major portion in the 3rd canto towards the end is all about Kardamuni, Devavati and their son Kapiladev. Okay, so that completes this section. And from 28 onwards is our 4th D, which is distraction by walk. Okay, so 4th D is what? Distraction. So that is the next part. Okay. I'm thinking, should we stop or should we? Okay, do you have questions? I see 2 hands. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we know that it's we can get bhakti only from a pure devotee. So Prahlad Maharaj, even though his father was a demon, his guru was Narad Muni. So Prabhuji, I was thinking, who was the guru of Vibhishan or Akrura? Vibhishan was living in the kingdom of Ravan, and Akrura was associating with Kansa. Still, they were devotees of the Lord. Who were their guru?
So, see, certain aspects, like in certain personalities, the guru is very distinctly mentioned. That, okay, this is so-and-so guru of so-and-so person. Certain aspects where you see an aspect of bhakti, either that emphasis is not given, either in the sense like, okay, yes, there was a guru from which they learned, or it could be like they had devotion from the previous life. They're just continuing. And that emphasis is not the main emphasis of the story. Right? When you talk of Akrura, then we come to the point, yes, we talk about like, even though he was serving Kamsa, what was his mood? He was always like, someday Kamsa will send me to see Krishna Balaram, and my whole seva to Kamsa is just waiting for that one day. So suddenly there's so much bhakti there, right? And when he comes to Vrindavan, he's rolling in the dust of Vrindavan and sees the footprint and immediately, rolls in the dust. So certainly bhakti is there. And maybe that emphasis is not given because it is there. But certainly we know bhakti means that's a confirmed bhakta, right? So similarly, it depends on just the details may not be given because the emphasis of the story is somewhere else. But certainly bhakti comes from a bhakta.
I have another question. You said the mind is also in the heart.
Yes, mind is in the heart. Yes.
Oh, so intelligence is here, but mind.
Actually, everything is in the heart. Even intelligence is the next door of the soul. Mind is also in the heart. Mind is like one way subtle. See, all this intelligence and subtle, intelligence and mind are subtle. So one way we cannot as such pinpoint directly that, oh, it is here. Atma we can say is here. But mind and intelligence, they are saying this next to the Atma. So it's one way here. Like normally we say mind means here. That is because of our scientific development. But mind is subtle. It's not, I can say brain is here because it's a physical thing. But mind is like, you say air. Where is air? I cannot point to air. It is subtle. So the mind is actually more subtle energy. But mind and intelligence are next to the spirit soul. So that's what I say.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Vamshi, go ahead, bro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, like Narada, it says the deliberation of the body. How do I understand, Prabhu?
That is like deliberation means what? Like the best thought one way.
Okay.
The best thought or the purest thought, and through that. Because this is Narada is said to be transcendental, right? Remaining our goodness, passion, ignorance. We saw Narada, his best devotion, because he already prayed to Krishna, he saw Krishna. So with that pure devotional thought or transcendental deliberation, he actually, Narada was.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So I think we'll stop here. I mean, the next episode, I don't want to start because then it's like we want to discuss that. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, sure.
So any comments, questions we'll take and we'll just stop there. Okay, go
Prabhuji,
ahead.
I have, Prabhuji, Brahma sprouts in the lotus, right? And is there another lotus budding from the navel?
Why?
Or only one lotus?
Why are you asking that much?
We were discussing in the Bhagavatam while reading, so I was not sure. Can you clarify that, please?
No, I'm thinking that did you hear anywhere of a second lotus that you're asking this question?
I did not, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So
I
normally,
don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I could not recall, but I don't want to miss anything. That's why. I just want to clarify.
yeah, we didn't read about the second lotus, at least in the section of Bhagavatam, which is basically the stem is coming from the Nabhi of Garbhodakshasha and the main lotus, and Brahmaji is on top of the lotus.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Anything else? Any other points from today's discussion? There are like so many points. So 3D we have done. 4D is next class. And 4D is like really like, it's not for this Brahma, not Brahma in this day, but 4D is also mentioned to teach us a very important lesson. And then 5D. So Actually, we have come, this chapter has 57 verses, but the second part of this chapter, after this after this fourth D, is actually we can go quickly because all the Vedas are mentioned, that this Veda comes, this section comes, this. So it's like a list. And then we conclude this chapter with manifestation of Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa, right? And then their sons is going to be rest of third canto, fourth canto, fifth canto, all about their sons. Right? So who is the son and daughter of Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa?
Devahuti.
Devahuti, one,
Prasuti,
Akuti, Prasuti, right? And sons?
Uttanapad.
Uttanapad.
And Priyavrat.
Priya.
So next is basically, we're going to, like in third canto, we'll read about Devahuti, first daughter. Then fourth canto, Akuti. Prasuti, Akuti, both of them will come. And then in that, there will be a pastime of Sati, Sati and Daksha. Then Uttanapad will read. In Uttanapad's line, who is there? Dhruva. Then Dhruva's descendants we are going to read. And then up to end of fourth canto is the descendants of Dhruva. How at the end of fourth canto, the final descendant says, okay, I'm not going to create. I need to meditate. He goes away. So no one is there. Then the next son, Priyavrat Maharaj, in starting of fifth canto is called, okay, you have to come back and rule. And that's the section that we mentioned today. Then Priyavrat Maharaj will rule. Right? So up to the middle of the fifth canto is all about these 5 children of Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa. But this chapter ends with how they became manifested. Okay. So they are the...
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So all the creations so far we read today are all by the will of Brahma, right? There is no female aspect of it. There's no Saraswati involved in this.
Yeah. I mean, the creation is all done by Brahma. But that one aspect where we read in 26, the 5 negative plus the aspect of speech, the positive. So Prabhupada in the purport mentions about that. The power, the goddess of speaking or learning is actually Saraswati. So she's not directly involved with this creation. It's all done by Brahmaji.
It was interesting how you said that that we can have so many negative qualities, and the one quality of speech can compensate all that, and how sound also was one of the crucial elements that came in the creation. And just by sound, everything can be changed. So in our life, we can also think like how am I listening to spiritual sound vibration, because that's so important for.
Nice point.
Which I also like this point, Bhagavat Shakti Yuktaste, text 21, the second line, first word, that everything is possible only by the Shakti or empowerment of Bhagavan. Brahmaji was able to create a son like Narad only because of Bhagavan's Shakti empowerment.
Which is the entire creation. Unless Brahmaji is empowered. We discussed in last class, right? How it is such a difficult task for Brahmaji. 8.4 million species. He has to give the different bodies for how many souls in this material universe? Unlimited. Sarvagata, souls in the water, in body, in fire, and the sun. He has to give bodies for everyone. It's such a complicated. Unless he's empowered, he cannot do this seva. Okay. Anything else? Yes.
I was thinking that Brahma was angry and then Rudra born. So I heard a similar situation when devotees are expecting kids, they should be in good mood. Otherwise, they will have like bad kids. But how they turn to good, like Rudra listened to Brahma and then he did penance and he became good. So even though we came late to the bhakti, if we know that, so engage them in devotional service and then they will be good. So because bhakti started late for some people like me. So right, Prabhuji, yes. It's
It's very interesting that, yes, the consciousness of the person actually determines, the parents determine the child. Right? That Brahma got angry and hence Rudra was actually born in that mood. So that's a good point. And yes, whatever point we are, whenever we come in contact with Krishna, at that moment, by the power of Bhakti, by the power of Srila Prabhupada, we can actually take up the process. So once we come in contact, we can, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it's important for kids. We engage kids. Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes. So, like, I like the point, like, many times people come and ask the question, what is dharma and what is adharma? So it is very nicely clarified here. Whatever it takes away from Krishna or devotional service is adharma. Very nice point, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, I have one question. Like, all these sages are mentioned. So, like, we have last creation, we have heard about, like, they have the different abodes. So, where all these sages stay, Prabhuji? And what about the four Kumaras? Because Narad Muni, he travels all over the universe. But the four Kumaras and all these sages, where they reside, Prabhuji?
So we see, like, like above the Swargalok, Mahalok, Janalok, Tapalok, Brahmalok. So these higher planetary systems, that's why the point Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur stresses that it's not the four Kumaras are actually born at that time. They are already there, but they are in the higher planetary system. These three higher planetary systems, they reside there. And when it's time in Brahma's creation for them to actually again be called, they are from the higher planetary system. One day, at that moment, they are saying, okay, now they are appeared from Brahma, but they are already there. So similarly, all the sages that we're reading, they reside on these higher planetary systems beyond Swargalok, higher than Swargalok. And was there one more? That's okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, means they stay in maybe Janaloka or Maharloka
Janaloka, yeah.
or Tapaloka. It's like the above any
Above,
of this above.
above Swargalok, any of these.
Okay, okay. And for the creation, because Kardamuni, he comes on the earthly planet and then he has the further creation with devotee like that.
Yeah, that's true. They come to the earth planet. That's a good point. I mean, like even Vashishta and all, like when Lord Ramchandra is showing his pastime, I mean, Vashishta Muni is here, right? So, like for these sages, for them to travel interplanetary system is a common thing. So, like how we read when the fire of at the end was very hot, when people from Tapaloka, they moved to Janaloka, right? Like they went one level higher, right? So basically the planet above Swargaloka, they went one level higher, right? So they can travel interplanetary system. So anything they can come to Earth, they can go to a higher planetary system. But normally their residence for austerity is there, but they may come to Earth if there are pastime or there is some role, they will come to Earth. But in Kali Yuga, they are like, oh, this is too degraded, we don't want to come right now. So then they reside in their original home. But for them, like, how we may travel from here to India. For them, it's like interplanetary system is just like, oh, and Mahalok, no? Let's go to Bhumandala. Let's see what's happening there. They may come here, show a pastime, or stay for some time and go back. So,
Thank you.
okay. Vijay Radhikamati, one last point.
I was wondering, like, what about the all other creatures? We are only talking about human creation. What about other creatures? Or how are they created?
I mean, like in previous chapter, we read about those four kinds, right?
Yes.
Yeah, those who are nourishment from bottom up, that's the trees, then horizontal is the animals. So we have already mentioned all that. But now that the Brahma is going to create, but now we are starting from, here, Brahma and then Kumaras, Narada, 10 sons, etc. But that section has already been mentioned that this will be a part of the creation. It will come at some moment, but it's not mentioned at that moment right now. It will come later. But he's already mentioned how they will come, how they will be classified. But that's also a part of Brahma's creation. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you all so much. So I hope this class was like, very practical. We can think about it in our seva. Think about the 3 Ds, and next time we'll do the 4 and the 5th D. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.